Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. This is another episode of SNTR Gaming, which is a live show. So if you missed the live broadcast, this is the past broadcast. I'm going to jump right into the topic about AFK players not being the problem. If you want to make sure and catch these, hit subscribe and the bell button so you do not miss out on the content. And the reason I want to talk about this is because recently New World announced some changes to AFK. So this is an SNTR update. Recently, New World announced the following on their forums. We've seen a lot of frustration around individuals who may be artificially remaining active enough in servers to avoid the automatic AFK mitigation that is built into New World. We certainly agree that this is not acceptable behavior, especially when there are droves of individuals who are waiting patiently to get in, and we created a new solution to help us identify and action against bad faith AFK players. We will not disclose the details of how the solution works, but we will say that we have every confidence that players who are playing New World normally will not experience any issues. Initially, being caught by our detection solution will result in a quick kick to the main menu. If the behavior continues, more harsh penalties will be applied. This effort is going to be rolled out over a period of time, so results may vary and not be immediate. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this because I did not appreciate this post all that much on the heels of all of the problems and everything going on with the game and just getting into the game. This did not seem to be the appropriate time to start wagging your finger in the face of people who are probably AFKing for a variety of reasons. So first, I want to talk about how this is bad optics. After almost a week of populated servers seeing virtually no decline in long server queues, this post is not landing well with a community who feels forced to AFK to protect themselves from playing and, getting kicked out of the game. They're literally doing this. They're using means of staying in the game so that AFK detection does not, snag them. They're doing it so they can actually play because the server queues have been so bad. I tried all weekend to get in for some gaming sessions, and each time I faced a queue that lasted 2 to 3 hours, and I never considered, well, this is something that I should be blaming on the AFK players. I don't think the time for, pointing the finger at player base, people. That's not what we should be doing right now. If you're leading your community, this is the wrong pivot in my mind. Creating a passive narrative that the server queue times are in some measure to blame on players is not just reckless from a community management standpoint, it's disingenuous, and it's not taking ownership of the real problem. Let's talk about the reality. Adding more servers within the first 24 hours was a great way to alleviate some of the problem for new players or late adopters. It enables them to populate smaller, less dense servers and start to make progress. But it does nothing for the day one players who picked a popular server, made a bunch of progress, and now feel stuck on a bad or overpopular server. I'm not going to pretend that the solution is simple, okay? Spinning up more servers will create its own host of problems. It probably already has created its own host of problems. And adding capacity to the existing popular servers would do the same. It would create its own breed of problems. So let's talk about capacity issues. If you just start raising capacity on popular servers, it would certainly help, especially when queue lines are usually around 1,000 to 2,000 players. Sometimes it's around 500 or 600 players. However, overpopulation creates a whole batch of new problems that servers are already facing, with limited enemy spawn times, fighting over animal hides for missions, and server stability. At this point, they need to figure out how to migrate folks off of servers without fracturing the fabric of what makes a New World experience so good, because currently, popular servers have no good end in sight. They're either going to become way overpopular with time, because it's just going to have to increase capacity, which means there's way more people running around, making some of those mission completions very, very frustrating. Or they're going to have to just leave it as it is and hope that people dissipate and leave and go to other servers. There is no simple solution, but turning on the community right now and acting like AFK players are the problem, they're not the problem. They're responding to a pretty big problem that we didn't create. As always, if you like these videos, hit subscribe and the bell button, and I'll see you in the next one. And I'll see you guys right now. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We appreciate you so much being here this morning. We are in the game right now, and I obviously am not going to be doing anything nefarious, but I'm going to make sure my little guy is running around town periodically and sightseeing. That's what I feel like doing today. I'm going to sightsee in the game. Because I would like to play later, you know? I would like to play the game this afternoon with you guys, and I gotta be honest, I did not appreciate their post. I did not appreciate the candor. I was disappointed. I really was. I think right now, something I always look for from developers is good candor, honesty, transparency, and I felt like their post in response to this situation was pretty disappointing. We've been waiting, and we are now 1 day away from an entire week, and we've seen virtually no solutions offered for the overpopular servers. It's great for newer players or people who didn't jump in day one to jump on less populated servers. That's great that they were able to do that, but that doesn't do anything for the rest of us. If I would have been trying to actually play over the weekend, okay, I was loading up just to see what the queue times were like. That was the only reason I was loading up, okay? I wouldn't have been able to play. If I was a normal, traditional job, working dad, I wouldn't have been able to touch the game this weekend. No way. There's absolutely no way. Every time I went to play, I was facing a 2 to 3 hour queue, and to act like I'm somehow to blame. If I would have gotten up early in the morning, got in a server when queue times were low, and then did the tricks or whatever to not get kicked for AFK so that I could play in the afternoon when my kids were, you know, resting, you can't tell me that I'm the problem if I have to resort to that. Now, I didn't resort to that. I didn't play on Saturday. I played on Sunday, and I had to put myself in queue. I kid you not. I put myself in queue. 2 hours later, I was still not in. Roughly 3 hours later, I got in, and I literally told my wife, I was like, I just have to play right now. I said, they're doing things to kick people if they do the AFK stuff. I was like, I just have to play right now. And it worked out. Her and the kiddos had a thing they were going to, so I was able to just grind like a madman to get up to level 26 because we wanted to do the dungeon today. And I'm thinking to myself, you guys completely bumbled this, man. You didn't even consider the fact that servers were going to get completely overpopulated, right? For my server, that's unheard of. Unless me and my friends get up at 5:30 a.m. to start playing, it's a 6 to 9 hour queue. Jiminy. See, here's the thing, Harry. Here's the thing. We're comparing train wrecks, aren't we? Like, it doesn't really matter that your train wreck includes more train cars, right? Well, 6 or 9 hours, 2 to 3. At that length, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you can't do anything. Yo, what's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. Once you get beyond 15 to 20 minutes, it doesn't work. It just disrupts a person's day. It's like, I got a 2 or 3 hour window to sit down here and play, and I'm throwing chunks of time away. Once you hit 30 minutes, it's over. Most people are going to be like, I can't do this, man. You know, our fault for picking the main PvP server. Well, we picked Eden. And obviously, we knew it was going to be popular. We knew queue times were going to be a thing. I didn't think the queue times were going to continue this long. I thought they'll figure something out. They'll hit equilibrium. They're not even letting people make a character now on an overpopular server, right? They're not even doing that. Like, if you pick a really popular server, they're like, yeah, you can't even make a character. Yo, what's good, Trey? Yo, thank you so much for picking a membership, Trey. We really need membership to uptick over here on gaming because Presents is stable, but we need gaming to start to pick up the slack. So those of you that are double dipping, thank you. Those of you keeping membership on Presents, thank you. But if you don't have a membership on either channel, consider doing a membership today. Click the join button. You get a badge, you get emotes. It supports me directly. We're not a big viewership channel. We don't pull a lot of weight, and so the memberships really keep the lights on. Props to them, though. Every day our queue time gets a bit better, but I'd love a return to normal sleep patterns. Right, like, okay, so this is my issue, Alarian. I read through their post. It was a forum post, okay? I read through it at the beginning of the video today. Excuse me. I read through it at the beginning of the video. And essentially what they said was, AFK players, people that are mitigating getting kicked for being AFK, they are going to start to try to detect those people to kick them out. And they said that it's you're not doing it in good faith, and that basically they said, it's even worse because there are scores of people trying to get into the servers. And my issue with their candor on it was, you don't seem to understand. Most of the people mitigating AFK, they're not doing it to be a jerk. They're doing it because of the server queue times. They're not adding to the server queue times. Now, I'm sure they are now, but initially they weren't. What on launch date and Wednesday were servers overrun with that? No, they weren't. Nobody could even get in. That was my issue with their post. I'm like, you guys didn't handle this appropriately, and your solution was good. You immediately spun up servers within 24 hours. You get thumbs up for that. I mean, you're Amazon, so you kind of should be expected to do that. So you get a thumbs up for that. Good job. You made these extra servers, and those extra servers are helpful to new players, right? A brand new player is being told, no, go over to one of these newer servers. Good for them. They can log in. They're getting their progress done. They're getting their experience. But what am I supposed to do? I'm sitting here having to do the most absurd things just to play your game. If I wouldn't have been doing AFK mitigation, I would have been able to play it all. Every day we sat here and did the talk show, and I had my character loaded in the game, and I would move him around every once in a while. Now, that's not normal. That's abnormal behavior. I'm at the desk. I can see my character in the game. I'm not running like a macro. I'm not doing anything nefarious. However, I'm doing that, and I'm taking up a spot, because if I don't play. That's it. I had to come up with a solution because you didn't. You didn't. What do you want from me? You know what I'm saying? That's why I said I didn't appreciate their post. Now is not the time to turn and look at the community and be like, now, you guys doing that AFK thing, you're really making this problem worse. No, we're not. We're trying to navigate around the problem. We can't even play the game. Let me zoom out for you guys. There you go. There's all our information up there. They didn't think about the economy of in-game time. They never consider the negative incentives they're creating by not getting at the root of the issue. Yeah, the fear of like, I'll get kicked out of the game. Like, so what am I supposed to do? Or not even get kicked out. I won't even be able to play. If I can't play, what's the point? What's the point? It's been a week. It's been a week almost. You know, you got to come up with a solution. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend the solution should be happening fast. Not once since launch date last week have I indicated that I think they should be working faster. No. I even said, I was just on a podcast, I said, listen, I think they've done a pretty good job in light of everything. The response was insane, right? And there's no easy solution. You can't just suddenly increase capacity, and you can't just keep adding new servers, because that doesn't alleviate the problem. You have overstuffed servers. You have to siphon people off of them somehow. Until you do that, you're never going to get ahead of this problem. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that the solution is easy. But while we're patiently waiting for you to figure out what the frick's going on, don't start kicking people who are trying to eat around the fat, as it were, and they log in early in the morning and hold their spot so they can play your game. You start kicking people out, you start enacting punishments on people for doing this. They said like, it'll get more severe if you keep doing it. Boy, you got a short road. That's a lot of people that are going to get ticked off. I'm like, I'm not playing your dadgum game. I can't even get in. The only way I could get in was to do rubber bands on my sticks, and now you're going to ban me for it? Get the frick out of here. This isn't my fault. I didn't create this problem. One of the problems is you're locked into a server. Now, once they start letting people move, right? Once they start letting people move, that might alleviate the problem. Like right now, I don't see us moving off of Eden, but the hope would be there'd be enough people that would be like, I'm not really invested in Eden. Green has completely overtaken the map. And, you know, purple's in bad shape. We actually don't have a whole lot of reason to stay on Eden, if I'm honest. We've gotten completely overrun. And, you know, I know a lot of people have put in time and invested, but it's possible we might have to move. Because the whole reason we came here was because, like, Ginger Prime and some of those other guys were going to be here, and they're not now. They literally had to pick a different server because they couldn't get anything done. Excuse me. I'm hooked. I'm not going anywhere. I haven't been this engrossed in a game in a long time. I've never played a game like this. I put in so much time yesterday. I was grinding. I'm going to do a video this week. I'm going to do a video and a discussion with you guys about how the leveling's not that great, but there are some silly tricks that you can use to level really, really fast. They could have avoided this by having your character independent of the server. When you log in, your character could instance into a server, the old WoW model. See, but that doesn't work. That doesn't work. Because they want you to immediately be investing in the map. So it doesn't work if you're never on the same server. It just doesn't work. I've been meaning to come by and see how you like it. I've been grinding real hard. I have enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to. I thought I was going to get kind of burned out immediately and be like, I don't know about this. There are some elements that kind of rub me the wrong way. I do think the leveling is a little janky. I think they lack direction with some things because you get a little confused. You're like, I couldn't figure out how to do the one where you're supposed to be able to level up your faction to the next level. It says level 20. It's actually level 25. And then when you go to do it, you fight like a level 29 boss. I'm like, what? It's super weird. Thankfully, I didn't have any problems, but still. Just to play devil's advocate, though, if you are under level 15, you can level a new character in 5 hours or so. Yeah, but Kareem, you have to understand something. 5 hours to some players, that's it. That's their weekend. Or whatever, like that's all they got. Like they don't have endless time to be like, well, I can throw another 5 hours at this game. I'll just start over. You know, you have to understand something. We did not create the problem. We didn't. We logged in good faith. We downloaded a game, picked servers, and created characters in good faith that they would take care of us, and that's not happening. That's not happening. The people that are having the worst experience right now are the people who jumped in right away. We're in the worst shape. Because, yo, what's good, JD? It has been a while. Are you counting waiting in queue or subtracting that out? That's a big problem for me because I like knowing my actual playtime in games like this. That's true. That's true. Counting you being in queue is an issue. Thank you. That's my point exactly. Right, like, okay, week one, you guys panicked. You had some problems, so you ramped up new servers for players and were like, hey, just go over here and get started. We'll let you move later. Cool, awesome. What about the rest of us now, right? What about me? Don't wag your finger in my face because I'm trying not to get kicked for AFK. That's the only way I've been able to play. Excuse me. It's not my problem that when I want to join a game, I have to wait 4 hours. That's exactly right. And don't turn around and blame AFK players. Don't do that. That's bad optics right now. The last thing you should be doing is turning the community against the community. Do you understand? Do you know what happens when they do this? You understand, like, community management 101. The minute you put a narrative point out there in the ethos, it can become a point of contention. So now you have all these players that are like, yeah, I can't get in a server because all these AFK guys. And who knows? They're probably coming in the games, they're finding people running into walls and sending them hate mail now because they're like, you're the reason I can't get in. No, they're not. 2,000 people in the server and a couple of people in town are running into the wall. Do you really think if they pressed a button and kicked all those people out that suddenly the server queue times would be fixed? You think Asmongold's server would suddenly be accessible if they kicked out the guys running into the walls? Are you freaking kidding me? That if the line is 6,000 and the only 2,000 can get in, unless the whole server is people running into walls, you ain't getting in. Even if the whole server was people running into walls, you're not getting in anytime soon. You have more people in line than can even fit in the server. Man, I don't know what's going on this morning. I'm froggy. I gotta drink some coffee or something. I'm currently AFK because when I finish work, I want to jump in and not have to wait. That's exactly right. I never, when this came up a couple of days ago, I didn't advocate for any of the nefarious ways that you can stay in the game, okay? I didn't. What I do is, I sit here at the desk, I boot up, I'm in town, and I move my character every once in a while. I'm well within my right to do that. If that's how I want to play the game, it's totally fine. If I want to sit here and literally move my character every 5 minutes so I can stare at a dadgum sunset, that's my prerogative. You can't tell me how I ought to be playing the game, okay? Can I get a company invite? Yeah, I'll get you in. I can do that right now. Let's see. Vengeance. You're not online, but I'll send you one. Oh, wait, yes, you are. Yes, you are. Invite to company. There you go, buddy. There you go. We got 23 members. You'll make 24. We're about a fourth full now. And how many players does that mess with? That's the point. Like, what do you mean? I have every right to protect my ability to play. It's not my responsibility to make sure other people can get in. That's on Amazon. It's their responsibility to manage the server. Can I get an invite also? If you guys want invited to the group, you gotta get with me or any of the other consoles. Get your names in chat. Like, if I'm sitting here, yo, Risic, with 2 months of a tier 3 membership, that is so kind. Thank you. Welcome back. Another topic Vinny and I discussed the other night was a lack of trading board for the company or any type of shared company inventory. Yeah, all you can do is share money. All you can do is share money, which I took a little bit out of the treasury last night. I will pay it back. I was using it because there's some leveling tricks you can do that are super, super silly and easy. If you guys are new and just tuning in, we do variety gaming coverage here. We do a talk show in the mornings, and then we do gameplay in the afternoons. If you enjoy the vibe, hit subscribe and the bell button, and that way you don't miss the coverage. We cover more of the New World, but for now we're really kind of planting a flag in it and really giving it a good grind and a good, a good comb over. I like to do deep dives in games. I like to comb over all their systems. I have planned a talk this week on the leveling, because I do think there's some issues with it. And, hopefully get to play a dungeon today, because then I could give some thoughts on the dungeon as well. Leveling tricks. Oh, there's leveling tricks. Yeah. There is some freaking leveling tricks, my man. You go to that board, and you grab anything that can be done with money, and you'll level pretty fast. What did Diaz say? Diaz said, AFK players are like people who scalp consoles. Not the problem, but it doesn't help. Using the same argument as a previous video. No. There is a huge difference, and let me explain why. Scalpers magnify and increase a supply deficiency. They saw a problem, and they're trying to make money off of it, okay? AFK mitigation is a response to a problem. It's not people trying to make money. It's not people trying to make a quick buck. It's, I can't get in the frickin' game. This is the only way I can play. It's them attempting to protect their purchase. I purchased this game. I would like to play this game. They're not even in the same dadgum hemisphere. They're not. Are they making the problem worse? I think they're a drop in the dadgum bucket. When I'm on a server of 2,000 people and I see 3 or 4 people in a town running into a wall, don't sit here and tell me that they're the problem. Give me a break. Give me a break. The servers are overwhelmed and overloaded. A handful of people. Like I said, if you kicked all the AFKers right now, it wouldn't matter when there's more people in line than can fit into the server. Like, that needs solved. That problem needs addressed. Increase in supply, server supply inefficiency. Yeah, but I'm telling you, they are a drop in the dadgum bucket in comparison. What's up, Ashay? I see you in the game. It's a response, but it doesn't mean they aren't making the problem worse. They are. 30 minutes of AFK isn't an issue. Someone doing it all day definitely is. Right, but if you have somebody doing it in the morning, because they want to play in the afternoon, it's the only way they can play. How can you turn and blame them? How can you turn and act like they're the problem? If they throw their hands up and say, okay, all right, fine, I don't want to be a bad player, I'm not going to do it, then guess what? They're not going to get to play that day. They take it on the chin. They're like, all right, I guess it's on me to protect the community. There's an impetus is on me to protect other people's experiences. No, it's on Amazon. Someone AFKing all day is a problem? Well, I don't know anybody that's doing that. Most of the people you talk to that are doing this, they go and they get in a big queue. And then once they get in, they do it so they can hold their space. So like, I can come back in an hour and play. I'm going to come back when I'm done with work so I can play. They're not doing it all day. Why would anybody do that? Now, maybe they do it because they want to come back in the morning after they're sleeping. And sure, there are people that are overdoing it. I would wager to say the majority of the people doing this are literally doing it because it's the only way they can play the game. It's not their responsibility to be like, well, like I'm in a game right now, and I'm staring at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people just standing around. Do you want to know why they're probably doing that? Because they were in queue for so long, they don't even know they're in the game right now. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that depreciating return. That the queue line is so long, you end up filling the server with people that don't even know they're in. What are we going to get mad at those people? Like, you see what I'm saying? It's to me, turning right now and saying anything to the community about what they're doing is bad optics. It's bad optics. You have a massive problem, and AFKers ain't the reason this is happening. AFK'd over the weekend so I could go out to Oktoberfest for an hour. Right, like you want to go and do something for an hour and come back. And you basically are like, nope, I'm going to be a good player. And then that means you don't get to play. That means you come back from hanging out with your friends and you can't play. You got a 6-hour window that night. You could grind like crazy. No, I'm just going to sit in queue because I want to be a good player. Listen, the last thing companies should start doing is like wagging a finger in the community's face when you're not doing the bare minimum. Do you want to know what the bare minimum is right now? I'll tell you what it is. Getting people into the game. That's the bare minimum, and you're not doing that. So focus on the bare minimum before you start coming at the community and being like, now, you guys shouldn't be doing that. What do you mean? It's our only course of action. You know what I'm saying? The average person, you poll 100 people, I bet 75 to 80% of the people AFKing are like, I've never done this before. I'm only doing it because it's the only way to play. I don't have a choice. Let me get to some of your guys' questions here. You're acting like people are doing it, you can't posture as if the people doing this are jerks. Like they're doing what they need to do to play the game. Yeah, they've said this caught them by surprise. They have said that this caught them by surprise. They did not expect the influx that they got. You know. What shirt do you wear now? I'm wearing an all-over print, so Ben Senin always comes in and asks. If you guys want to use the shirt command, this is a Mortal Kombat shirt. It comes from the video game collection. It's an all-over print on the front. It does not have print on the back. I have two. I have Scorpion, and then I have oh my gosh. I'm not a Mortal Kombat guy. I just loved how awesome the shirts looked. What's the Freezy guy? What's the cold guy? Yeah, they're suffering from success. That's right. That's right. They're suffering from success. Sub-Zero, thank you. I could not think of his dadgum name. I wanted to say Iceberg Slim because we were talking about that the other day. I was like, that's not his name. That is not his name. Holy frickin' moly. I grew up on Street Fighter and Killer Instinct, right? I just thought these shirts looked amazing. I was like, oh, I gotta have those. I love a shirt with a giant print. Those are like my favorite. So, Poser, oh, I don't even care. I will wear video game shirts of games that I'm like, you know, not that big on. If they look cool, I totally wear them, right? I totally do it. Arch Enigma says, if they marketed the opening of new servers as a pre-disclosed launch, like a new opportunity to claim land if your company did not do well on launch, could this have been a better incentive? Yo, what's good, Ginger? Ginger, I wonder what you think on this. You want to weigh in on this? I'm telling you, I read that forum post and I got angry. I was like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Like, are you freaking kidding me right now? People are trying to boot up your game. They're being faced with 2 and 3 hour queues. They're AFK mitigating so they can play the game, and you're and you're acting like they're part of the problem. They're responding to the problem. They're not part of the problem. You know? Now, I'm sure in the grand scheme of things, they are adding to how long you're waiting, right? But once you're waiting for an hour, what difference does it make, right? It's not like, well, if the AFKers weren't doing this, we could have you in 10 minutes. No, you'd still wait over an hour on most of these servers. Easy. It's not like if you suddenly get rid of the AFKers, you're going to shrink queue times to 5 minutes. You'd still wait so long. You would still wait so long, it wouldn't make a difference. If they released a press release that says, we immediately now detect what people are doing and we catch them within minutes, this should really bring queue times down. You'd be like, it's not bringing down queue times at all. What are you talking about? I'm still waiting an hour or two to get in. That's unacceptable. Whose life runs that way? It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, and the real solution is to increase capacity. And then increasing capacity is going to bring problems. Like, if you're trying to hunt a bear, like, world bosses, named world bosses. I had to do the one last night where you had to kill the pirate and then the named alligator, and we're all just standing there. We're like, hopefully we all get enough damage, boys. Here we go. We're just swinging. It's going to get even worse. You just raise capacity. You should talk about how people are mass reporting players on war days to get them banned. Is that happening? Come on. They have to see an influx of mass reports and know it's bogus. Here's what they need to have done day one. The ability to play your character on a mirror server, so that way while you're in queue for the source, you can still progress. Yeah, maybe. I would imagine if Amazon is aware of it, because you're aware of it, so they're aware of it. If they're aware of it and you take part in mass reporting, that should be a temporary ban. I don't know about a perma ban, but you're misusing the reporting system. If you're misusing their reporting system for nefarious means, then you should get like a 14-day. I don't know about a perma. I'm always a little hesitant to wield the perma unless you're using an actual cheat. But I don't know. I would be pretty harsh. I'd be pretty harsh on people for that. Now, you got to be careful, because just because everybody's doing it doesn't mean that that's why they were doing it. You know, it's possible that they were like, oh, my friend told me that guy was cheating, so I reported them. You know. You'd have to ask, though. A couple hundred people all reported these people. Why? Why did you do that? If you reported like 8 different people, you know what I mean? You'd run the report. You'd be like, well, these 20 people were all reported by all of you. Like, what are you doing? I feel like that would be a pretty quick indicator that somebody was abusing the system. how hard was it to go back using Twitter normally again? It wasn't that hard. Once you start fighting back and liars clam up, it's pretty easy, actually. It's pretty easy. Trolls have no teeth, and liars have no spine, so it's not that hard. It's not that hard. Okay, I got refunded. I got a good premiere for you guys this afternoon, but I wasn't going to keep the game. I already own the game. There we go. If you guys are new and you haven't weighed in, all right, here. I want to. Let's do it. New World AFK. AFK players. What should we ask? Let's see. Are they worth focusing on right now? Are they worth focusing on right now? Listen, I'm going to be real with you guys. I think it needs to be addressed, right? I think it needs to be addressed. But now is not the time. Okay? Now is not the time. Let me say it this way. If you put out an actual solution to alleviate server queue times, okay? And when you put that solution out there, you say, hey, we have also made efforts to prevent people from long periods of AFK, okay? We think that combined with our solution should start to bring queue times down. That goes over a whole lot differently. Like, as far as the community's reception, as far as the optics. It's incredibly different to be like, we've pushed out actual, tangible solutions to bring queue time down, okay? And we've also done something to detect long-term AFK players, and they will be removed from the game. You don't need to even threaten to take more severe action. The frick? What? No. You don't need to threaten that. It's such an easy fix. Cap servers have an AFK kick just makes sense. WoW, ESO, they all have AFK kick. Well, this game has AFK kick. There's ways to get around AFK kick, my man. Like, come on. If you go into any of those games, WoW, ESO, Final Fantasy, there are things you can do to ensure that you don't get kicked by the AFK detection, right? They see the data, and the data tells them that this is it's worth addressing. Yeah, I don't agree. I think they're buying themselves time is what they're doing. I think they're buying themselves time. And not to mention, no one addressed what I just said a little bit ago. Look at my server right now. Look at my server. Let me show you. I'm gonna try and get a good shot. Here. All right. Okay. Here's another good shot. Look how many people are just standing around that are likely unaware that they're in the game. They have no idea they've gotten into the game. Can we talk about that? You want to talk about people mitigating AFK? Do you know how many people get into the game and are AFK by accident? Do you know how many times I've come downstairs and I finally get through the server queue and it's like, you've been kicked for inactivity? What? What do you mean? Like, what? So I went in and took up a slot for 25 minutes needlessly, and hundreds and hundreds of people are probably having that experience today. When I've got 1,200 people in front of me, and that 1,200 queue time takes 2 to 3 hours, you better bet dollars to donuts a significant percentage of that 1,200 people are getting in, taking up space for 25 minutes, and then getting kicked, perpetuating the problem. So you want to turn and act like, well, AFK mitigators, they have the data. Do they have the data about the fact that there are more people in queue than can fit in a dadgum server? Like, do you honestly think when a server has a server cap of 2,000, what, you think there's 2,000 people in that server running into walls? When I tried to get in and I saw 1,200 people in front of me, that's more than half of the server. I gotta think that even if there's 300 people doing it, that doesn't do anything for me. If you kick 300 AFKers, you drop my 1200 Q to 900. What? That doesn't do anything for me. You're still talking about hours of my time. Hours. What's the difference between a 3-hour queue and a 1-hour queue? Virtually nothing for the day-to-day real-life living person. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're guessing they have the data? I'm not guessing. I've played the game. I've run through the towns. Most of the people are running around. Most of the people are running around and doing stuff. I'm supposed to believe that when I tried to boot up over the weekend and every single time had a queue between 900 and 1,200 people, I'm supposed to believe that if they got rid of AFKers, that wouldn't be a thing. That a server that can only hold 2,000 people, apparently there's almost 50% of the servers standing around AFK mitigating. No, I refuse to believe it. You're erring on the side of just trusting that they have the data and that the data is showing, oh no, yeah, if we address AFKs, it's going to make a huge difference. You've not seen the numbers. You've not seen the evidence. You're assuming just as much as I am. You're assuming, contrary to basic, just mathematical reasoning, that 900 to 1,200 Q is going to shrink if you kick AFKers on a server that can only hold 2,000 people. They didn't say it was fix everything. It's not the solution, it's a solution. My point is, it's not worth saying anything right now. It isn't. Now is not the time. Like I said, in 2 weeks, a week and a half, if you push out a tangible solution for everybody who jumped in day one and is now facing 2 and 3 hour server queues, then you could say, we pushed out this solution. We are also pushing out something to detect people who do long-term AFK mitigation because we feel that will also help alleviate some of the server space. That's when you make that announcement. You've not even made it 1 week, and most of the people doing AFK mitigation are just doing it so they can play the game. So now is not the time to wag your finger in the face of people that are like, what? I bought your game and couldn't play it. This is the only way I could get in. It's the only way. It's like, I got to get in when the queue times are low, and then I got to protect my spot. If I wouldn't have done that, Hilly and I wouldn't have had a stream on Friday. I wouldn't have been able to play on, I don't know, Thursday and Friday and yesterday. I wouldn't have been able to play if I just accepted the fact that, well, yeah, you can just get kicked. I kept queuing on Saturday just as an experiment. I just wanted to see what the queue times were like on Saturday, and they were abysmal. They were abysmal. Oh, boo-hoo. You're adorable. You're adorable. You are. You're as cute as a kid playing in the mud. What were they for you on Saturday? Every single queue on Saturday was 900 to 1,200 people, and it was 2 and 3 hours easy every time. 2 and 3 hours. As soon as you get beyond 30 minutes, it's like the average person, that's not tenable. It's not tenable. It's not tenable. You can't have a living player base if people can't play the game. It's gameplay 101. It's like you people have to be able to play or it doesn't work. You know what I mean? Maybe people should choose different servers. No, yes, you're right, J-Stock. The most committed consumers right? The people that bought in day one, jumped on servers all excited and ready to go, and have made a bunch of progress, they should just throw all that progress in the trash and go jump on another server because, I don't know, you say so. They'd be like, yeah, you know, he's right. I mean, my time is invaluable. It's my time's pretty much just worthless. So, you know, I spent the first day 6 hours or more, maybe, who knows, and really got a lot of progress done. I'll just throw that in the toilet and just go on another server, because, you know, it's my fault, really. It's my fault. I bought the game in good faith and chose a server and made a character. Really, I'm to blame. I should really be blaming myself, because I made the game and didn't consider server capacities might be a problem, and didn't consider the fact that a server cap of 2,000 players, you should let 10,000 people make a character in an hour. Like, you didn't have any contingency plans. You didn't think that a 2,000 server queue might be a problem if you let 50,000 people make characters on that server? Yeah, it's my fault. It is. I should have thought, you know, I should have been smarter, you know? It's my fault. I took off work. I played 18 hours on launch. Moving's not an option for me. That's what I mean. Your most dedicated players feel trapped, man. They feel trapped. If they're allowed transferring a character to a different server, that solution is forthcoming, right? That solution's forthcoming. Yeah, they're gonna let you move. That is true. What do you mean I'm only level 50? Let me just hop on a dead server and grind another 100 hours real quick again. Right? Like, you can't just move. It's not that... You can't just start over, I mean. Eventually, you will be able to move, but I think that's going to be hard for people, too. Because they're going to be like, I got invested in this server, man. You know, we're doing a great job. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen on a lot of servers? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They're going to perpetuate landslides. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Let me explain to you what I mean. I want you to imagine they start letting people move their characters, right? Any server, if you're not winning the land war, the map, you're gonna leave. Like, in my server, almost every area is green. Do you want to know what's gonna happen when they let people move? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The other colors are going to mass exodus. Let's get the frick out of here, dude. Let's get the frick out of here. Why bother staying? Queue times suck. We got no control on the map. Let's just get out of here. And it's going to perpetuate a landslide. Do you want to know what that does for everybody else on the server? If you're not green, that really is going to stink. You know? If you're not green, then all your peeps are leaving. Who's going to stay? Who's going to stay on a server where you're losing the map? Hand over fist on some of these servers, man. Green's going crazy on our server. Green's going nuts. And what's going to happen? People, as soon as they got their ticket out, they're going to find another server. They're just going to leave. Like, I'm getting the frick out of here, dude. You get a few clans switch in mass to new servers? That's right. That only applies to small companies and solo players. Even if you're green, it will suck. There'll be no PvP. I've talked about that. I told you guys, I said, I don't know, man. This PvP thing, they got to be really careful with it. They got to be really, really careful with it. Because if a server gets overrun with one color, it's not fun for anybody. That's not fun for anybody. It's not fun for the people losing, and it certainly isn't fun for the people winning, because who's going to challenge them? Who's going to challenge them? Nobody. If you're in a large company and you have a lot of friends, you're going to plan out the move and go take over. I don't know. I don't know. It starts to seem insurmountable, Creech. You just look at that map, you're like, why bother? We can go to another server that's purple. I'm not saying I want to do that. I'm telling you, it's a real risk. Homie, and all the other homies here, y'all know what gamers do, don't you? We've talked about this. They take the path of least resistance. Who is going to stay on a server that's a landslide? If the whole map is green and you got a ticket to leave, you're going to leave. You're going to be like, well, let's go somewhere else, you know? And you could send the word out to your company. Let's do some research. Let's find a server where purple's in charge. And then whoop, all those people leave. We also optimize the fun out of everything. That's right. That's right. I had that conversation with Demetrius the other day, Ginger. I was like, you're optimizing the fun out of the game. That's right. I look at our situation. We have 3 communities. If we all land in the same spot, we dominate. So, of course, we'll plan that. Well, and here's the thing. We're hoping that that's even possible. Do you really think anybody's going to want to come to Eden anytime soon? It's anything but the Garden of Eden, okay? Right? The apple's already been bit, okay? This ain't Eden, brother. This is bad. This is bad. I don't know if you're gonna convince anybody. I don't know if you're gonna convince anybody to come over here. Did you see Astrocross' video about his PvP battle? No, huh? You don't want to move to a server where your faction already dominates? Harry, I'm telling you, people will do that. You'd never be able to claim your own land, but they get all the benefits. They go to town, they can pick up all the little things, they get the discounts, they get all the good treatment. You got to think like not Harry. You got to think like another player. Gamers take the path of least resistance. They're going to be like, well, I don't care about claiming land. We're going to get all the benefits. It's going to be great. There are tons of people that are going to be like, I don't care about claiming land. We'll just go to a server and we'll reap all the benefits of other people's hard work before we got there. Let's leave Greentown out. Let's get out of here. This whole server's green. Let's just bail. There's housing. The housing is instance user base. There's nothing to lose. ADJC says, I'd probably switch to another place if the faction I was part of was getting screwed. Move to a server to get the benefits, then go to another server to trash some other people. They're not going to let you server hop that often, Sci-Fireman. No, they're not going to let you server hop that often. They're going to let you do it, I think, like one time. It's not like you can play on a Monday, you can go to some server and reap all the benefits, and then on a Tuesday be like, all right, I got all my money. Let's go back and get our revenge. I don't think so. You can swap factions. Every 120 days you can swap factions. I don't know how often they're going to let you switch servers. It sounds to me like they're going to do like a one-time server switch, right? 120-day server move cool off. Yeah, they might let you do a server move every 120 days as well. I don't know. They said one time for free. That suggests you'll be able to pay to switch. Doesn't 2,000 people seem a bit low for server cap? Well, here's the thing. That could be low in 2 months. I'm sorry, in 2 weeks, right? And here's what I mean. When you first start out, everybody's trying to do the same thing. And slowly but surely, a gap starts to form. And the hardcore players pull out ahead. I saw people yesterday, level 40, level 36, level 40 something. I'm like, holy frick. Like, I'm trying to get to 20. I got to 26, and I was very proud of that. You know what I'm saying? So, what you would hope would happen is people that tip over into the 30s and 40s, they start to spread out. They're in other areas. They're in parts of the map that are more challenging. They're doing quests and bounties and things that are not at the level of the introductory player. And when that happens, you picture it like you're spreading something on the map. You're starting to spread the player base out a little bit more. Right now, everybody's kind of clumped, right? Right now, everybody's clumped in one spot. It's like a heat map, right? And it's slowly spreading. And as people spread, what you would hope you could do is say, okay, we can raise server capacity to 3,000. Why? Well, because people are more naturally spread out, and because if not, if you would have done 3,000 or 4,000 in the beginning, it'd have been a tragedy. You wouldn't have been able to get anything done. Not to mention server stability. Like, we don't know if they picked 2,000 for server stability, because think about it. Everyone's chopping trees, killing deer, killing rabbits, killing everything. That causes strain on the server. Those things have to be respawned. They have to be respawned at a duration that makes sense. You can't have a tree falling and immediately reappearing. And you can't have a captain dying and then immediately reappearing. There's got to be at least some window of, okay, the world you had a breath, and now everything's coming back. Even now, in my opinion, they're not handling some of the world bosses very well. Ascross on some gamer hours hit level 51. He's not even the most hardcore grinder. Yeah. Closed beta had higher population counts in the live game, 2.5. Yeah, so they could at least raise it. If they raise it to 2.5 right now, it would certainly help. When your queue is 600 to 900 and you chop 500 off of that, but that might help. And if you do that along with the AFK thing, number one, the optics on it are better. People would be more receptive to that. We're going to increase capacity. We're going to try and alleviate some of the server strain. And we're also putting in some efforts to minimize AFKing. That's all you got to say. You don't need a post where you basically threaten people who are AFK mitigating. That's just not appropriate right now. It's just way out of line, in my opinion. I don't think it's good community management. I think it passively asserts that, like, oh, the reason you can't get in is because of other players, which isn't true. And secondly, that's not a solution. It's all by itself is nothing. All by itself is nothing. If that's all they do, that causes no alleviation of the problem. They raised my server to 2.25 and it helped a lot, not gonna lie. Haven't they already raised it to 2.5? I don't know. Have they announced it? I don't know if they've said anything. I would assume they would do it slowly. Like, raise it to 2.5, another week goes by, raise it to 3K maybe. I don't know. 2.5 would remove the queue from the server even at busy times. Maybe. Sounds like what some certain CMs would do. I've been in the business of video games and public conversations and communities surrounding games for 7 years. And the last thing you want to start doing is pointing the finger at the community unless it's absolutely necessary. Addressing cheating, for example, right? That's okay. You can do that. You can address cheating in a very, very forward, pointed way. But in the first week your game comes out, and lots of people are resorting to, like, the AFK mitigation because they feel it's the only way to play the game, and you start wagging your finger in their face, that's just bad optics, man. It's bad optics. Especially considering most of the people that are doing it feel they have no other choice, and they're probably some of your most dedicated players. They're on the most popular servers. The most popular servers got overrun in that first 24-hour period, and those are your most dedicated players. Oh, at the very least, they're the most committed. They're in there day one, Devs, whether intentionally or otherwise, are really good at pitting their consumers against each other to take the heat off themselves. That's why my hackles got raised. It's exactly why my hackles got raised. I was like, don't you dare start this infighting crap. Don't you dare do that. That is not what we need right now. Game's in a fragile state, just came out. The last thing we need is hate mail getting sent to anybody who's AFK running in a game. Like, that's not helpful. That's not going to fix anything. You're just turning people against other players. That doesn't help. It should have been coupled with an actual tangible solution, an actual post about, here's our game plan. Here's what we're looking at. Bullet point, bullet point, bullet point. And one of those bullet points could be AFK, mitigation. We don't want people going AFK for long periods of time. That can compound the problem that we're already experiencing, And I don't think anybody would have read that and been like, I can't believe this. They'd have been like, oh yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people running into walls, and that's not helping, you know. But all by itself, I don't feel like it was the right. I don't feel like it was the right choice. Yo, what's good, MJ? And you guys feel free to weigh in on the poll. Weigh in on the poll. Tell me I'm wrong. Talk in the chat. You know, hit subscribe so you can talk in my chat. This is a safe for work broadcast. I do a talk show Monday through Friday and then gameplay in the afternoons. They're trying to fix the part they can fix the easiest. Well, that certainly is their approach, okay? And that's why I said on Ginger Prime's podcast, I said, I feel like they've done a pretty good job. In light of everything that happened, they responded immediately, spun up more servers, tried to siphon all those people off. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, we got to open up another door on the gymnasium. No one's going to get in, okay? I don't think you can AFK farm in this. No. No. You might be able to run some kind of a macro to, like, farm trees, maybe, but I don't think so. I don't think so. It would have to be a pretty sophisticated, you know, thing, because nothing spawns. Trees are pretty concrete, right? Trees are pretty concrete, but like if you're farming for particular plants and stuff, it's kind of random, right? Mostly people are AFKing just to stay in the game. They don't want to get kicked. I'll give you an example. You got a dad that works, and he knows if he queues in the morning, he can get in right away. And he gets in, and he sets himself up so that his character's constantly moving in town, and that keeps him from getting kicked. He goes to work, he comes home in the afternoon maybe, or the evening, and he can now play the game. If he doesn't do that, he will not play. It's not possible. He's going to get home in the afternoon or the evening, and the queue time is going to be 2 to 3 hours. He literally can't play unless he does that. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's right or it's wrong. I'm going to say that is a completely understandable response to buying a game and just doing what you have to play it. He's not a jerk. He's not doing it as an exploit. He's not trying to be mean to anybody. He's just, I bought the game and would like to play. The spawn points are fixed to the best of my knowledge. Even on the plans? Depends on the server. That, obviously, yes. There were 700 and some odd thousand people who logged in day one, or more, probably more, that logged in day one to play. And they made characters all across the servers. The servers became overpopulated. And Amazon was like, what in the world are we going to do? And so what they did was they said, listen, we're going to spin up more servers. Go to these other servers and just start. Just start playing. We'll let you move your characters later, right? We'll let you move the characters later. So what ended up happening is a large portion of people, I don't know about a portion of the community all shifted over to these other servers, and they're having a ball. They're having a blast. Everybody else that got in day one is sort of in this, they're stuck. It's like we either do something that is now being labeled as nefarious and bad. We either do that or we don't play. Or we start over on a less populated server. They're not left with any good options. When your players have no good options, that's not the time to start scolding them. That's not the time to do that. They either AFK mitigate, don't play, sit in queue for forever, sit in queue for 2 or 3 hours, or they start all the way over on a less populated server. None of those options are very good. Shroud said that casual players should stay away. Who gives a frick what he says? Who cares? Who takes orders from him? Is anybody being like, well, I was going to play that game, but Shroud told me to stay away? Who gives a frick what he says? That would be like me saying hardcore players should stay away. Well, who the frick am I? I don't have any right to tell people who should and shouldn't play a game. Gatekeeping is for the weak. Like, gatekeeping is for the weak. You're just weak if you try to gatekeep something. Who cares? Like, you know what I'm saying? The progression can't switch from server to server. They're going to let you do that one time, primary. One time for free. For free, they're going to say, we're going to take your character, you know, you're level 26, Lono. We're going to let you move your character one time, right? My question is, which of those options hurts others and which don't? I'm not feeling your position today. Which of those options hurt others? The player gets hurt with the two other options, Zubair. So they either don't play. That hurts them. Sitting in a 2 and 3 hour queue and not being able to play, not being able to take their invested character, their level 20 something, whatever character, that hurts them. Starting over, that hurts them. They have friends on that server. They have a company. They've made progress. They're being hurt by that. Them AFK mitigating for 5 or 6 hours? Okay, so that hurts other people trying to get in. But again, in my experience, I'm running around, and most people are playing. You run around town, you see 1 or 2 people running into walls. You know, that's about it, right? How many does that hurt? It's not about calculating how many people it hurts. Listen. There is no impetus on the player to protect other players for getting in. It's not on them. It's not on that player. They bought the game in good faith, picked a server, grinded, made a character, made a bunch of progress. It's not on them to be like, well, it's my responsibility to make sure other people can play. No. As a consumer, they should be protecting their own purchase and their own interests. It's up to Amazon. The impetus is on Amazon. That's not on the player. I'm not saying it's evil, but it's not all equally morally clean. I don't think in this instance you can lay anything at the foot of the player. You can't. In the first week, Amazon hasn't done anything to alleviate the most dedicated players, the most committed, the day one adopters, the early adopters. They've done nothing to help us. All they've done is help late adopters. They've done nothing to help us. Have they raised server capacities? Have they done anything? Like I said, I'm walking around my server right now, and there are tons of people just standing still. They're not even AFK mitigating. That's because they don't even realize they've made it into the game. Every time I booted up this game now, like I got on Saturday, every time I got in, I got kicked because I didn't realize I was in the game. The queue time was so long. So that compounds the problem too. So what, I shouldn't queue unless I 100% know I can play because I might get in and take up a position for 25 minutes and elongate the queue? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, the only choice people have is to either, like I said, the three. They either protect their interests and get in when they can, they don't play, or they have to start all the way over. And a person is allowed to act in their own self-interest. They are. I'm allowed to act in my own self-interest. Like, if I'm doing that and someone else is like, but then I can't play, that's not a direct one-to-one cause and effect. You don't know that. You might not have been able to play anyway. Even if I wouldn't have AFK'd, there's no proof. There's no proof that all of a sudden the queue times would be so low that, oh yeah, nobody had to wait. Everybody got in. A 900-person queue? That's easily 1 to 2 hours of time. The average person is going to look at that queue time and be like, I can't play today. If everybody stopped AFKing, that person would still come to the same conclusion. They'd be like, well, instead of a 900-person queue, it's like a 500-person queue. That's still an hour or more. And they're like, oh, I can't play. I saw people with a queue of 10,000. If you're stupid enough to queue for a server that will always be full instead of moving to a quiet one, then you're an idiot. Well, I mean, throwing around insults is always helpful. You have to understand why people might be doing that, though. They may be doing that because they have a character that's too far in. He wasn't bopped. You can retract your own messages. He retracted his message. But that's 400 customers getting in. I don't blame people at all for AFKing. If I don't, I have to wait in a 3-hour queue, and I don't have all the time in the world to play. If this problem needs to be fixed, Amazon needs to figure it out. Until then, I'm going to AFK. I retracted. It hit send early. Yeah, it should. You guys should be able to see that. It says message retracted. It should see. Oh, you're on mobile. Maybe it doesn't show you that. Yeah. Hey, guys, if you haven't done so yet, click the like button, click the subscribe button. We have disagreements here all the time. It makes for good television. It makes for entertaining conversations. It is safe for work. We do keep it respectful. We appreciate you being here. If you haven't clicked subscribe yet, consider doing so. Hit that bell button, set it to all so you don't miss my daily streams. It's a talk show in the mornings and gameplay in the afternoons. You could consider doing a membership. You could hit the join button or type !join in the chat. We'd love to see the membership climb over here. I'm going to be doing new emotes every day this week. We've unlocked a couple, and I just need to start. I need to put them in. I'll start doing that tonight. Let me put it this way. I'm not going to knock people for doing it, their choice, but I wouldn't feel okay doing it. It isn't black and white. I'll give you that. It says retracted now. It said deleted at first. That's weird. Yeah, slap the like button too. Let's get those likes going. We're having a great turnout today. I appreciate you guys supporting. I don't just cover New World, so I am going to fair warn you, if you click subscribe and that bell button, I cover all kinds of different games and play them and talk about them. But for now, we are kind of digging in on New World and trying to have a go at it, okay? If I AFK, then you can't play. If I don't AFK, then I can't play. Most folks won't have a moral issue with their decision. That's exactly right. It's you or me. It's you or me. Why are you more important than me in that instance? That's exactly right. Why? Make the argument. Taking up 8 hours of server space for 3 hours of playing is ridiculous. Yeah, well, who put that player in that desperate situation? The player didn't do it. Who's the impetus on? What's good, Lightleap? Who's the impetus on? Who put that player in that scenario? Who? The player didn't do it. The player didn't do it. Now, if day two rolled around and they ignored Amazon and said, I'm going to pick a really popular server, okay, like that's on them, sure. I think most people didn't do that. We didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know. Who knew? People were so desperate day one, they bailed on their plans. People were like, well, I guess we'll just go over here then. Like, we told all our friends we were going to be on this server, but for Pete's sakes, we got to get in. We got to do something. We can't just sit here. Would you act that way at the grocery store? Yeah. The dev is making the decision. Yeah. And I can call the decision poor optics. I can. Hear me out. Hear me out on my position. I have no problem with the developer saying, we don't want people AFK for long periods of time. It doesn't make sense to let people take up space in a server who aren't playing for long periods of time. Now, if someone goes AFK for 30 or 40 minutes, I got no problem with them being like, look, man, I'm going to do what I got to do, okay? I got to go drop the kids off and then do some errands and stuff, and I want to come back and keep on playing, and by golly, I'm going to do what it takes, okay? So I have no problem with the developer saying, we need to do this. I got no problem with that. It's all about the optics. It's all about the timing, okay? It's all about the optics and the timing. You've just had a pretty rough week, pretty rough launch of a week. And people are very frustrated and can't get in, and they're coming up with creative means to even play. I'm talking about they're coming up with a creative means. You're like, a guy AFKing for 8 hours just to play for 3 is ridiculous. You're absolutely right. He shouldn't have to do that just to play for 3 hours. He shouldn't have to do that. Just to play for 3 hours? He's got to do an awful lot. From where I'll know that some random popular streamer picked my server and his fan base is mindlessly trying to pick that server. Luckily, since then, my server is locked for new characters. Oh, yeah. You're reading a bunch into that post? Let me reread it then. Let me reread it. I'm reading too much into this? Okay, let me reread my favorite parts. It's my favorite when I get told I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. I've been told that before. Do you guys remember when Destiny's PvP trailer came out and I said that's a gross misrepresentation of the product and it's really going to cause problems and frustrations with the reception of the Crucible and Destiny? You're making a mountain out of a molehill. Really? How'd that one work out? All right. Okay, where's my favorite parts? We agree that this is not acceptable behavior, especially when there are droves of individuals who are waiting patiently to get into a world. We have created a new solution to help us identify an action against bad faith AFK players. Do you know what's completely absent from that paragraph and the entire post? Do you know what word is absent? Ownership. Zero ownership. It especially when there are droves of individuals waiting patiently to get into a world that you allowed to become overpopulated and have done nothing to solve. No ownership. We're going to get the people, the bad faith AFK players. What do you mean bad faith AFK players? They're the same individuals that can't get in. They can't get in. What do you mean? They're not AFKing to be a jerk. They can't play the game. They're just like the people waiting in line. They're all equal. They're all frustrated by you. No ownership. No ownership. Let's read a little bit more. Initially, being caught by our detection solution will result in a quick kick to the main menu. If the behavior continues, more harsh penalties will be applied. So now, zero ownership, acting as if AFK players are bad, and now you're going to enact harsh penalties on people that do this? Most of them are doing it because it's the only way they can play. I'm not reading too much into this post. They had no business posting this right now. It's awful optics. It's terrible. Go read the replies from the community. They're like, are you freaking kidding me right now? Are you freaking kidding me? I sit in a queue of 1,200 people and I'm a bad faith AFK player because I protect my instance to play your dadgum game because you're not doing anything to solve my problems. This was not the time to say this. D. Tom with 2 months. Double dip club. Worth it for my favorite morning show. Thank you. What if 10% of the population is never logging out? They're in for 24 hours a day. Okay. If they would have said, we are targeting the percentages of players that are AFKing for exorbitant amounts of time, like, that would have been different. That would have been totally different. If they would have come out and said, here are all the things that we're addressing. And if one of those bullet points would have been people who are AFKing for exorbitant amounts of time, like if someone AFK mitigates for like an hour, leave that person alone. Like, what are you doing? Like, come on. Like, it makes sense why they're doing it. Not to mention, like I said, I boot up the game and consistently see people literally just standing because they don't even realize they're in the game. They don't even realize they're in the game. That's how long the queue times are. That probably is perpetuating a problem too, Zubair. Think about it. Hundreds of people an hour are getting in and standing around for 25 minutes, waiting to get kicked. That's probably not helping either. So a long queue time perpetuates itself. It's like, get in, stand around. So you have all these people getting in and not staying there. Then they get kicked and now there's more room. And it just perpetuates. The longer the queue time is, the more people that's probably happening to. The minute you get outside of 30 minutes, you're probably constantly filling the server with people who have no freaking clue they're in. Play 12, AFK 12, rinse, repeat. Right, but they're not saying that in the post. The number of people that are AFK like AFKing like that, I would love to see the numbers. I would love to see the numbers. How many people are just slugging it out for 12 hours and then running into a wall for another 12? Like, you know what I'm saying? And sure, those people, you got to do something about them. They're never freeing up a spot on the server. But I don't know. I just to restate it, I have no problem with the developers stepping in and saying, we don't want that happening, but now is not the time. You've offered no solutions for the popular servers. None. And this is your first post? This is your first speaking on it? Don't you think this maybe could have been like bullet point number 2 instead of like the first thing? Not to mention you're threatening penalties for people doing this? Imagine finally getting into a game only for someone to knock on your door. You answer the door, and when you get back, it's kicked you for AFK. Well, it's 25 minutes. The AFK timer, from all the tests that I saw, apparently it's 25 minutes. Good to hear you in the Discord again. Wolverine, was I not? I've been using the Discord for audio. Or have you just not been able to listen? Threatening? Yeah, they said there'll be more severe penalties if you do it more than once. There's no threat in that post? If the behavior continues, more harsh penalties will be applied. That's a threat. What are you talking about? A threat doesn't have to be we're going to come to your house and punch you in the mouth. They literally say, if the behavior continues, more harsh penalties will be applied. That's a threat. That's a threat of consequence. Like, that's basic threat issuing 101. The beatings will continue until morale improves. Like, that's a threat. That's a threat. If you keep doing it, there will be harsher penalties. That's just normal. Right. I don't think... we might be passing in the night a little bit, Eugene. I always love sparring with you, but I think we might be passing in the night a little bit. You're okay to say this, maybe in week 2. Maybe in week 2, you know? You could say, for the last week, we've pushed out something that has made it more challenging to AFK mitigate, and the reason we did this was we felt like it might help free up some space on the servers. You don't gotta call people bad faith AFK players. You just say, we implemented something, we didn't tell you we were doing it, but we wanted to make sure if people were doing AFK mitigation for long periods of time that they were getting kicked out. That's honestly all you have to do. Like, if you catch them. And obviously, put them on probation. You get caught doing it once, and then it's going to be a little bit more sensitive. It's going to be like, okay, this guy's running into a corner. All right, hit him at the 26th minute. Boom, you're out of here, right? Give him no AFK mitigation. As soon as the 26th minute hits, they're gone. They're out, right? But I think that's going to be received a lot better by the community if it comes coupled with actual solutions for the problem. I want you to think, see, you're thinking about the people that are extreme. Do you think they're even reading this dadgum post? No, they're zombie-eyed and like locked in playing. They're not even reading this frickin' post. My problem with this post is, how many players read that and were like, what on earth? Why am I the bad guy? How many players read that and were like, I've only been doing that because it's the only way I can play the game. Now I'm a bad person. I'm going to get penalized. Do you see? You act like the only people that read it are the people that it's intended to target. There's plenty of players who read that post that were like, well, frick you. What? You got some frickin' nerve to come down from your tower, and that's the first thing you say to us? We're down here making the best of a bad situation, and you're coming in and scolding us? Like, you got to put yourself into the mind of the player. Many players read that post and were like, I'm not the bad guy here. What do you mean? I'm not the bad guy. I've struggled to play numerous days. Are you threatening me? That's right. If you're not actively playing, you shouldn't be in the server. The server's getting clogged by hundreds of people running into a wall. I think that's a misconception. I've run around numerous towns. I have played this game a junk ton. I'm level 26. And by and large, in every town I've been, I see 4 or 5 people running into a wall. You know, even if every single town right now that has people in it has 4 or 5 people doing it, that's like 30 people. 30 to 50 people. That's nothing when the server queue is in the thousands. Like, when you got a server queue above 500 people, it doesn't frickin' matter if 100 of those people are running into a wall. It doesn't frickin' matter. Your queue, your wait time is so long, it's not tenable. The average person cannot sit and wait for over an hour to play a game. That's not feasible. Think of the world we live in right now. We're overworked, we're so busy, we got 18 different things going on. And I'm supposed to wait in a queue for an hour? What? I'll just play something else. You know? I got 3 hours to burn. I'm not going to burn an hour sitting in a queue. You know what I mean? Far Cry 6 Thursday, there won't be anyone running into walls on that game. That has nothing to do with the conversation. There's plenty of games launching. It has nothing to do with New World. They're not even related. Far Cry 6 is what? A single-player action-adventure shooter? You don't care about tone? Oh, I care about tone. I care about tone very much. I do. I think it's important right now. I think it's important. I'm an orator. I'm a speaker. I think words and I think communication is incredibly important. I do. I think we've run ripshod over the meanings of words and how important accuracy in communication is. And I see something like this, I'm like, what the frick are you guys doing? You couldn't press pause. You couldn't save that post as a draft for 7 days. You know? You couldn't press pause. You couldn't save his draft for 7 days. You know? You got anything else going on? You got any other solutions you're cooking up? Because tomorrow, the game will be out for a week. And people feel like they can't play. Maybe they should make the game not a walking simulator first, or Far Cry will beat it for actually being fun. I don't think you understand who this game appeals to and why people don't care about having to walk great distances. I don't think you understand, you know? Man, that PvP game was nothing but a shooting other people simulator. Yeah, that's part of the game. That's part of the way it's been designed. You know what I mean? Plenty will be playing Far Cry 6. Just be glad your server queue times will be less on this game. You get a lot of confidence in Far Cry 6, and I don't see it. I don't see it, dude. I really don't. I don't think Far Cry 6 is going to launch and it's going to, like, angels suddenly start singing and lights go on. It's like, oh, yes, dude. The servers have opened up. Everybody left to go play Far Cry 6. Oh, my gosh. Not to mention, if you're walking that much in New World, you've made a grave error in your time investment. Well, there are things, you can do to minimize the walking. Yeah. You can. There are things you can do. I will say this, creature. I will say this. They don't make that apparent enough, right? They don't make it apparent enough. I think that would help a little bit. Something that games like this do, and I see people doing this all the time. When they talk about New World, they say, well, every other MMO does that. Does that mean it's good, though? You know? Does that mean it's good? Like, are those features good? So like a lot of people are going to look at an MMO and be like, well, they don't have to tell you that stuff. You just figure it out on your own. All other MMOs do this. Okay, but does that mean it's good? That doesn't make it good. It doesn't automatically make it good just because it's always been that way. Well, every MMO's always done it this way. Okay. You can be better than your predecessors, though, can't you? Isn't that part of evolution? Isn't that part of, gaming advancement? Do you play shooters and do you play RPGs now? Do you play God of War and Horizon Forbidden West or Zero Dawn and say, well, I can't believe they improved all these systems. They should have just left them how they were. It always was that way. I'm Ghost. I've stopped the walking in the forest simulator and started the fast travel with no load times. It's amazing. Zubair, the first time I played Ghost of Tsushima after that update and I loaded into an area with no loading screen, I was like, what? I was like, Chad, did you see that? I was like, there was no loading screen. I did it 4 times to show it off. I was like, this is amazing. This is unbelievable. The only reason I want to mount is because fast travel is going to be sold in the cash shop, which is so bad. Well, but you can as long as you're questing, you get enough currency to fast travel. You get enough currency to fast travel. New World does reward you with traveling on foot. You can farm everything. That is something. See, this game is not for people that just want to beeline. Okay, let me give you some tips here. You want some tips? Let me give you some tips for New World. Okay, if you're the kind of player that just wants to beeline and not travel, you're gonna miss out on so much. You're gonna miss out on so much. You need to be chopping down, harvesting, hitting, killing, everything. That's how you level. That's how you progress. One of the reasons my harvesting was at nothing, and I came up with a harvesting guide that's doing very well on this channel. One of the reasons I came up with that is because I wasn't harvesting anything. I was just walking past all those plants because I was like, oh, I don't need that right now. I was beelining. Beelining is death in New World. It's death to your progression. It's death to you. You're not doing any of the things. Miss out on a boat that annihilates you in a boar. That's right. That's right. If you beeline, a boar will eat your soul. That was so stupid. I'm 25, ran everywhere. All my skills are 60 except for fishing. Fishing needs to be improved in 8 different ways. Oh my gosh. Number 1, it takes way too long to move the needle. Number 2, bait seemingly does nothing. Number 3, if I'm actively using bait, that should give me significantly more XP. Number 4, where the frick are the large salmon? Where? Where? I can go kill 16 rabbits and 10 turkeys before I can catch a single large salmon. It's terrible. It's truly awful. Every time you grab a quest that tells you to catch large salmon, just delete it. It's a waste of your time. You've gotten multiple salmon. Homie, I've gotten small, medium, and 1 or 2 large salmon. It's horrible. You got to consider, in a game like this, it's time in exchange for XP and progression. That's what you're doing. You're putting in time, you're getting something out. The time you have to put in to get 5 large salmon is not worth it. Buy them from the market board. You can. That's a little trick I learned last night. You grab you grab everything from the board that can be bought. Oh my gosh, I got so much XP. It's just running down. I was like, does anybody have any fish oil? Buy it. Anybody have any of this? Buy it. Anybody have any timber? Buy it. And then just go turn in the quests. It's cheesy, but it's effective. It's cheesy, it's effective. Was in a meeting, I turned my head, see Lono crushing it. Thanks, Ginger. Would you recommend New World to a player who's never played an MMO and mostly plays solo? Yeah, I would. You can play this game as a non-MMO player, as a more solo player, and you just fine. You'd be just fine. It's very, very approachable. Now, you're going to get to a dungeon at level 25, and you're going to have to make friends. You're going to have to make friends. There are elements that are going to be like, it's time to stop being a wallflower and go ask the lady to dance, right? You're going to have to do a little bit of that. Now, you could just avoid the dungeon altogether, but that would not be recommended. There's good loot in there. Lono has a lot of built-up Q aggression. He's going to take it out on something or someone. Yeah. This MMO is a sandbox equals living world. You can just set up shop and play how you want. True, there will be things closed off from you if you're exclusively solo, right? If you're exclusively solo, there will be things you can't do. Rare and secret fishing spots. Okay, but Sven, I don't know if that impacts salmon. Now, you might be able to find a hotspot for large salmon, but that's the problem. You're straining at a gnat. I want you to think about this with me. You go and you grab like a super rinky-dink little quest off of the town board to get 5 salmon. You're really going to go to all that trouble? Just delete the dadgum thing. It's not worth it. It'll get replaced in minutes and you can grab something else. You know what I mean? I can't find anything specifying salmon. Yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. I'll give you another one. Kill grizzly bears. I went to a grizzly bear cave, and you want to know what was going on? There were no grizzly bears. Why? There were dudes just camping the cave. And the spawn timer was so bad, I just left. I was like, F it, and just deleted the quest. I just deleted it. Do you know what I'm saying? Just AFK fish. You can't. Yeah, you'd have to have a macro that can respond to like on-screen stimuli or something because of the way that like pulling the fish in works. Because you'd probably break the rope every time, right? You'd break the rope every single time. Because if you're not actively watching, I think it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to get it to work. We might want to start putting SNTR Presents in the description and tags, because that still is one of the primary ways people are finding us. You can play this game and not Far Cry 6 and have an amazing time. God forbid you have to hunt elk in Windsward. Oh, yeah, I got an elk one and I just deleted it. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, no, I'm good. Yo, what's good, Agent Atwood? I will say this. Once you have upgraded hunting to where it tracks small game on the radar, that's a game changer. Because when you need 16 rabbits, that's actually really fun. You're like, oh, I can see where the rabbits are. Or when you need turkey or whatever. That I like. The doe counts for elk? Are you serious? The doe count? What about when you need their antlers, though? If you're just culling elk, then that would be a shortcut. Wow, the hit on Far Cry. Jake, no one's hating on Far Cry. Someone in chat was taking up the position that Far Cry 6 is going to be so successful and large that it's going to help server queue times. And, it's not going to. So we're just being silly. I plan on playing Far Cry 6. I think it looks dope. I love Giancarlo Esposito. Like I think he's fabulous. No one's hating. Ferryman said something ridiculous, and everyone's having a go at him. Far Cry 6 Game of the Year. Yeah. It'll probably get nominated for some categories. I bet you it wins. For some categories. You don't put Giancarlo Esposito in your game and not win something. They'll win something, I bet. They won't win Game of the Year, though. There's some categories where I think they'll do okay. Holy moly. A lot of new subs this morning. We're about to roll over to 6.9K. It'd be amazing to hit 7,000 subs this week. We really want to hit 10,000. We would really unlock a lot of great features, but we understand a lot of people subbing are enjoying the coverage. Just keep in mind, we cover more than New World. We do have a company. We have a Discord. We have great ways for you to get plugged in and play, but there's lots of other games that we're going to be able to play. I got an email this morning. I will be able to capture some Battlefield footage for you guys, and I'm allowed to publish that, I believe, on the 6th. I'll double check the embargo. Hit the like button. Yeah, smash the like button, all those things. If you want to support the channel directly, you can do that with the join button or the join command. I'm listening on YouTube in the background. What channel do I go to Discord for voice? Galacticat, you have to be a member on Presents or a member here, and then you got to sync your Discord with YouTube. It gives you access to the room where I do that. And the winner for Formulaic and refusing to break new ground goes to... Oh, shut up, Eugene. Sometimes we just want a new, shinier Honda Civic, you know? There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? If I would have traded in my 2000 black Honda Civic for, you know, a 2020, it would have had new features and stuff, sure, but it's still at its heart of hearts would have been a Civic. And that's okay. That's okay. One model to the next, especially. If you go from like a 2018 Civic to a 2020, that's fine. That's fine. You know what you're getting. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay for games to do that, I think. Several things are wrong with that? No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. People want more. People want more. They want another season of that game where the cast is a little different and the storyline is different, but the gameplay is largely the same. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. If you plan on doing Amrine today, make sure tank is half competent with threat generation and the healer actually heals. DPS needs threat reduction. I had issues my first run as main tank. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I'm a 26. I have no idea how well it's going to go, right? I watch this show every day. It's always the same dude yelling about stuff. It works. Thank you for the tip, Silent Warrior. Let's take another question from the audience. This one is from Mithrax. Would I have to engage with taxes in PvP? I heard about them. I was like, nah, you don't have to engage with it at all. Just know that it will affect your game, right? You'll go to a town and see like a chest glowing and you'll go to grab it and they'll be like, you can't, you don't own this you don't own this land, right? You know what I mean? If games stopped coming out that said, here's an open world, go explore and unlock things, we'd have many games that wouldn't come out. That's true. That's true. I'm fine with that, but, and a big but, give more depth to gameplay, which I think is my problem with seasonal formats in general. Well, here's something though, Ashen. I don't know if you're trying to add depth to gameplay, like in a game like Far Cry. Don't you feel like there's a bedrock that you hit where you can't go much deeper? You're like, this is kind of it. This is what you can do with a shooter. You know? We can give you cooler new weapons and fun new stuff and, you know, maybe some vehicles. But, like, I don't know. I think shooters especially are one of the more challenging environments to innovate. They've been around for so long. So many things have been happening. You know what I mean? Make sure your bags are empty. You get tons of loot, and you'll get encumbered pretty fast. Okay. There's a guy in front of me named Johnny Two Toes in the game. I like that. Hey, get Johnny Two Toes in here. Why do they call him Two Toes? Because he has 2 toes. That's a conversation. There's always that guy. Yeah, but why do they call him Two Toes? Why the frick do you think, you idiot? He's got 2 toes. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it as like Timmy Three Nipples. You know, it's like Johnny Two Toes sounds like, you know, he got interrogated or something and lost a couple toes. But, you know, Timmy Three Nipples, I don't think anybody's scared of him. He walks in. How yous doing? I'm new in town, but I'll be taking over things. You just call me Timmy Three Nipples. I'm sorry, what did you Stop laughing. I'll smack the smile off your face. Stop laughing. I'm sorry. I can't take you seriously. I can't. Do you actually have 3? Can I see them? I mean, I'll pay a little extra. You know. I don't mind paying for the protection. You know, you're the mob and all that. Ooh, scary. But I would really like to see. Taserface. It's metaphorical. Your name's Taserface? Robert Jones says, how big does the AFK problem have to be for you to consider a problem? 10 or 20%? Here's how I view it. That's a perfectly fair question. For me to admit it's a problem, I already have admitted it's a problem. It's not about how many, it's about why. Do you see? To adequately solve a problem, you usually need to get underneath the symptom, okay? This is why watching a mental health advocate on the purple platform is probably not helpful for you, okay? They don't understand underlying causes, right? Let me show you something right now. Here's my game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. Just standing around. They more than likely have no idea they're in the game. AFKing is a part of that. Like, they're in the game and don't know. You know? They're in the game and they don't know. And that's because the queue was so long. So when I get underneath the problem and say, well, why? Why would so many people be AFKing? The underlying cause is not something nefarious. It's not bad faith players or bad actors or nefarious persons. It's your queue times are ridiculous. People feel they have no other choice. It's not as simple as just saying, well, yeah, I mean, people just shouldn't be doing that, and it's just bad for other players. And okay, but like that is, to me, you're not getting at the root cause. I got in this morning for like 90 minutes, had to jump out for a few hours, just logged back in and got right in. Is this real life? I can play the game. What server are you on, Soldier? Are you on Eden? Because I saw your tweet. You don't see it, Galacticat? Hang on a second. What's he on? Yeah, he's SNTR Presents. He should be able to see it, no problem. Oh, you got into Eden that fast? Well, good for you. Good for you. That's impressive. Been rough for a few days? Oh, the weekend. We knew the weekend was going to be rough. It was just a question of how rough, right? It wasn't a question of like, would it be rough? How rough, you know? It's like sandpaper. It's a matter of getting there. Hair's looking good today. Thank you. I got it chopped. It was so bad. I couldn't style it anymore. Like, it would just go up and flop over. It was so long. My haircut got pushed back like 3 different times. I go every 5 to 6 weeks, and I think I got way out. I think I got like 8 or 9 weeks, and I was like, oh my gosh, I looked terrible. I forgot to do my beard yesterday, so I'm getting a little neck beard going. I try not to be cliche. Eden has a 1600 in the server right now. No way! We're actually under 2,000. It's Monday morning, homie. Everybody's recovering after the weekend. It's Monday morning. Everyone's recovering. They're like, oh man, I went on a bender. Let's look at another question. You guys can submit questions with the question command or the highlight command. Who is this here? MJ Talks. Did the beta not give them an estimation on how many servers they should have? Did Amazon not expect the game to succeed? So they did an interview. Creature was telling me about it, and he said that they did not anticipate. We're not doing them on screen right now, Mithrax, because for the time being, I'm in the game, so I can't capture your questions. You want to see what happens if I try? It's capturing my game. That's how we do question capture. So I'll have to come up with a new way to capture questions, because for the time being, I got to get in the game and kind of run around town every few minutes just to make sure I can play in the afternoon. So I can't for now. Eventually we'll bring that feature back. Yes. We'll bring the feature back where you submit a question and I pop it up on screen and everyone can see your comment. So Atwood's asking for the likes to roll over. They're at 283. Did we get 17? That actually looks pretty cool. Yeah, it's kind of neat when like you can like, you know, you could get a good screenshot, you know, and get like a nice little interactive banner in the game, you know. Find a nice spot just to showcase some gameplay down there. It's actually kind of cool. It is. Part of me thinks Lono wants to get kicked for content. No, I do not. No, I got to level 26. I grinded like an idiot yesterday, so I could actually try to do some of the, you know, earlier mid-game stuff. That's thrilling gameplay. I love the 16 by 3000 aspect ratio. That's right. Oh, brother. Let's take a peek here. Oh, and then I got the tip from Silent Warrior. All right, I'm gonna clear the question queue just so nobody gets told they can't submit a question. I hate the long queues. It cost me from Friday. It did cost you from Friday. I actually felt really bad, Diaz, because I wanted to play. I was totally in the headspace to play. I was like, we're gonna go into Dark Souls. I'm gonna give these guys an episode of From Friday, but we literally couldn't. I couldn't risk it. I was like, me and Hilly, we wouldn't have been able to play if I gave up my spot in the server. It's like we wouldn't have been able to have a stream. We'd have to cancel Friday night, or I guess we'd just gone back to Valheim. We had a blast. Yeah, I'm capping frames. I capped frames when the beta came out just because 60 looked cleaner for capture, because I'm capturing and broadcasting at like 60 FPS anyway. So I have all my games capped at 60 now. I know people can't believe that. Like, it just wasn't worth trying to hit 120 for me, and then it downscales for you guys, and we get all this, we get weird hitching and we get screen tearing and stuff, you know. It was a really good Friday night stream. It was great until probably the last 30 minutes. It got a little salty because we just couldn't do what we wanted to do. And part of it was because they've built the world. They've built the world to just, you know, surprise you. It's not meant to be a world where you can just kind of like walk around wherever you want. You gotta, you know, it's, we got punished. That's one of the things I think they mess up, okay? We can talk about that for a little bit. I think they mess up this idea of like, you grab something from the town board and it's giving you XP and a payout that's at your level. It's not a lot, right? As an example, go kill some goats. What you don't realize though is finding and killing those goats is an enormous task, and it's not worth the trouble. I was joking, but I kind of wasn't earlier when I talked about the salmon, the large salmon. It was horrible. It's horrible. It's not worth the trouble. And so if I have to travel a great distance to kill 10 goats, and traveling that great distance is perilous, there's something wrong. Like, you shouldn't be giving me little town board quests like that in the first area. You know what I mean? Is New World going to be one of your main games? We are, at the current time, testing the waters. I will say this. You guys seem to be responding positively to my coverage, and new people are responding well to my coverage. New viewers. We've gotten a lot of new subs just today. Be sure to introduce yourself in chat if you want to say hello. We always love to welcome new people. If you haven't hit subscribe, consider doing so. I do cover more than one game. Recommend if you plan on leveling harvesting, Get the right tools with perks for more XP. It helps a lot once you get over 50 harvesting. Okay. I'm along for the ride. Yo, what's good, Wheeze? Wheezy. Wheezy got out the bat in general chat. Wheezy got out the bat. I was like, whoa. Like, settle down, Wheeze. Settle down. It's okay. It's okay. It's not, it's got the perfect combination of fun, but frustrating and gives us peak Lono. I'm new, I'm Ration. Well, welcome, Ration. New sub, what's up, peeps? Welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here, Delirium. Wheezy got out the dadgum bat. He was so irritated. I say the things that you can't. Well, like, I even said something. I was like, I've covered it for 3 days. What are you talking about? If it had been 3 months, I could hear you being like, I'm a little burned out on the New World coverage. But it's like, I've been covering it for 3 days. It just came out. How would you expected me to cover an MMO, like, what, for an afternoon? Like, well, played it, guys. It's pretty good. You can fish and chop trees down. All right, on to the next game. Like, that wouldn't work. How do you cover an MMO in less than 3 days? That was my question. What did you expect me to do? You know? I covered another game for 6 years, basically. For 6 years. You missed that? Yeah, Wheezy didn't appreciate it. I don't like you playing this game, so I'm not watching. Cool. Go have yourself. Here's the thing. I've never taken it. You can't take it personal. You can't. Because I played and covered one game for 6 years, and I would literally say out loud, I'd be like, hey, there's 900 people here. If you guys stick around for 30 minutes, it will, in the most literal sense, put money in my pocket. I would do like a bounty, and bounties were paid on viewership. I'd be like, if you stay for the next 30 minutes, it will, in the most literal sense, put money in my pocket and food on the table, and people would leave. It's like, you can't give me 30 minutes. I'd give them 6 hours of orbit dreg conversations, talking about bounties. And if I was like, hey, I'm going to go play this little indie title, it's an hour-long bounty. If you stay for 30 minutes, it'll be massively helpful. And they immediately bounce. It's like, man, oh man. So I've had to learn to just not take it personal. I'm just like, okay. I take it personal. It annoys me to see someone type that out in the open like it's not your job. I'm glad we stepped in because my tongue was bleeding. Yeah, Creature. Creature don't say much anymore because he has a hard time. You think our time is free, Lono? No, it's not about that. It's not about that. I have quickly learned this life lesson in content creation, okay? And this is something that so many content creators don't get because they're like, support the streamer, not the game. Shut the frick up. No, you're in the entertainment business, and people are going to support what's entertaining. If you're not entertaining enough to carry people over into another game, maybe the problem's with you. Maybe instead of invigorating your content and innovating and creating something that's entertaining, maybe you've just dialed in boring streams where you sit and play and drool in the corner, or maybe you're too firmly planted in service streams. Maybe it's you, you know? Maybe you're the problem. Support the streamer and not the game. No, support what entertains you. If I'm not entertaining you, then I don't want you to watch. I need to know. I need a barometer. Am I entertaining? Am I captivating? Is it good? Is it inviting? Is it enjoyable? Because if it's not, then I got to figure out how to fix that. I'm not going to support my favorite band if they start playing polka. That's right. That's right. Now, you might help them launch the album, like maybe just because you like them. You're like, all right, okay, I'll go to a show or I'll help the launch. But but that doesn't mean you're going to keep listening and keep going to shows, you know? And that's a lot of times what people do. They help me launch the thing, but then that's it. That's where the support ends, which totally makes sense, you know? Like, you cannot expect people in the entertainment business to support something that's not entertaining them. I think it was Bo Burnham that said that. He was like, No, don't come to my shows and support me if I'm not making you laugh. Don't support me for me. Support what's entertaining you. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but he essentially said that. I saw that quote once, and I was like, that's on the nose, man. That's right on the nose. It's frustrating. It is frustrating. It's not without its frustrations. To cover a game for 6 or 7 years, you know, and to be unjustly banned, and to have that community basically be like, sorry, buddy. And then that's the end of the conversation. Sure, that's frustrating, but I'm not going to lay that at their feet and be like, well, you should watch me cover, Deathloop or Returnal. It's not in their hemisphere, man. It's not in their hemisphere. It's not what they like. And I don't expect them to support something they don't like. I'm not gonna look for that. I'm gonna look to make a show and an experience so entertaining that they feel like they're missing out if they're not there. You know, that's what I try to do. Like, oh, I missed it. Are there timestamps? Did he do the talk? Like, that's what I want to hear. It's like, oh yeah, it's at the beginning of the show. You know, you can go back and rewatch the talk. You know what I mean? Why are so many people set on Far Cry 6? It's the same as Far Cry 4, same as Madden every year. I think that's a gross overstatement, homie. That is a gross overstatement. There's a giant difference between a brand new Far Cry and one Madden to the next. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's very fair. I don't think it's very fair. It's not even out yet. Not to mention, it's got Giancarlo Esposito in it. I mean, I think he alone is pretty captivating. You know what I mean? And we haven't played it yet, you know. Different story setting, weapons, characters. Yeah, a whole lot of love's been put in this game. It's not a new roster of players. It's not like you're going to be playing the same Far Cry game and they just change the characters' names. You know, same guns, same locations. Yeah, we just changed the characters' names. It's not that. It's not that simple. You know, that's a harsh, I think, inaccurate take. Ghost Recon 20th anniversary is happening, and I just don't care. It's a shame how that franchise fell off. Yeah. Speaking of Madden, your voice sounds like Madden sometimes. Me? I don't think I've ever been told that before in my life. You mean the layout? I mean, but we haven't even played it, though, Smashville. We haven't even played it. Don't sully Esposito. I want a Breaking Bad feel. I know, dude. I know. I love the one interview where she says something to him and he just gives this little grin at the end. Just a very slight, annoyed grin. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I don't hear Madden. I don't know how you think I sound like Madden. I don't know. He's famous. It's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to be told I sound like one of the most famous sport commentators in existence, but I don't hear it. You know what I mean? I'm taking notes. If anyone saying it's the same game again ever supports a remaster, I'll know. Oh, man. If he's the same character, I have no interest. Oh, no. Did you see? Yeah, no, Eugene, there's a scene where he gets very angry, and it's not. He is not Gus Fring. Not in the least. There's a really, really good scene where they showed on a boat, and that's all I'll say. And he gets angry, and it's like, yeah, no. Gus Fring did not tap into what this guy's tapping into. Anyone who watched the other game, I took a break, stopped watching content, came back. I'll pop in here to see you. Still watch you, just not as much. Your content's so great. Yeah, I appreciate it. Like I said, I choose not to take it personal. You know, it is one of those things where I do everything I can not to get stuck in it. You know, can get stuck in a rut of anxiety and anger and just feeling like a victim, you know? And all those things are true, but they're not worth sitting in, you know? Makes me want to rewatch Do the Right Thing. Yeah. We should probably schedule the next one, so people get hit with the 30-minute. Just rewatch the scene he does with Homelander in the last season of The Boys. It's more scared of him than the guy with superpowers. Yeah, I need to try to get a chance to watch that one, you know what I mean? I didn't mean the game layout, I mean the typical UB layout. Well, right, I'm not going to sit here and pretend. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that, like, it's not going to have similarities. Like, I'm not ignorant. Like, obviously, yes, it's going to have similarities. It's going to be another Far Cry. But I think my issue was that today I'll be trying to dive in the Amaranth Dungeon. You compared it to Madden. I think that was the issue. You know, today I'll be trying to dive into the Amaranth Dungeon. There we go. For me, that's where I was like, yo, wait, we haven't even played the game yet. Like, Madden's notorious for, you know, here's an updated roster, you know, and then that's it. And Amaranth Dungeon. We need to try to mimic some of the settings from the stream today too, because I'm noticing it seemed like it helped. Some of our gameplay streams, I don't think we put enough meat in there. Yeah, right here, and then edit. And then we'll put it above that. Shoot. Then copy them all. There we go. Gotta feed YouTube a little bit more. We don't need this stuff though. Okay. And we don't need this because we're not doing that. Okay, that's better. We got to schedule. I try to schedule the streams closer to when we go live. That we found that's just better for our workflow. Also seems to just be better. It doesn't clutter up the channel. It's like you see it and then it's live like shortly thereafter. Are you at that part of the quest? Did you talk to Barkamedes? I mean, my quest literally says, it literally says, search the Amrine excavation for the heart gem. So I've traveled to it. It says I need to be, level 25, and it says to go in. And I got there, and it was like, I couldn't. And then let's save this one and change it. There we go. Okay. Perfect. I bought a Series X instead. You need to make a group of 3 to 5. Oh, no, I know. I don't know if we have people. I don't know if we have people to do it. I have noticed a stream showing up more frequently on my homepage, an incognito for me without having to search super hard. Well, it's because we're getting positive response from you guys. Like, you guys are responding positively, and that can start to kind of snowball. So the more you come back, and the more you enjoy, and the more you chat, and the more you press like, the more YouTube is like, oh hey, you're digging this guy's content, and they're gonna keep it in front of you. If you start disengaging, that's when things start to change, because it's like, oh, you're not watching, right? And if you're not watching, then YouTube has to decide what to do with you. It's like, what are you watching, And then I watched Squid Games. I really, really liked it. Generally speaking, YouTube is attempting to predict what you're going to do and what you're going to like. And it's not easy. It's not easy at all. There's a variety of reasons it's not easy, YouTube's always recommending your channel. Yeah, if you're consistently watching, then they're gonna put me in front of you every day. And you know this is true, right? Like if you stop watching a person, all of a sudden you see their content less, you know? If you're watching some guy, let's say you got really big into like sim games and you were watching some guy play sim games for a while. Well, more than likely, YouTube's going to start recommending sim content to you, okay? And then if you stop watching sim content, eventually it'll stop feeding you that. It just takes time, you know? I watched Review Bruh, the guy that reviews the food, and for about 3 or 4 days it kept recommending videos of his to me, and I didn't click on them. And so eventually it stopped putting him in front of me. So why? Because I wasn't responding. I watched one. I like him. I think he's funny. I think he's very intelligent. I watched a video of him reading mean comments, thought it was great, and then that was the end of it. I'm not going to be a consumer of his content flow, you know? So you just have to realize, like, as a user, a lot of the times people are like, I don't see your videos anymore at the top of my feed. And it's like, did you stop watching me for like a week or two? Because that'll have an effect. If you're here every day, then it'll keep putting me at the top. And if you're not, eventually I'll fall out. It's just the way that it goes. It's not personal. It's not like YouTube is like, screw that guy. It's like, well, no, we're making decisions based on what works. What do people respond to? That's what they're trying to do. You know? That's all. I'm planning on making a server queue simulator game. Yes. That's it. Do it, dude. You make a bundle. I watch guitar videos in great waves, and when I'm in the mood, YouTube knows and showers me with those videos. Yeah, all it probably takes is one search, one click, and then all of a sudden they start feeding you that content again. You know? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to foster a really, really great show and community that you can rely on every day. And one of the ways we're going to do that is by playing and covering games like New World that we think are worth our time. And if that means we start playing more RPG, more MMO style games, then that could become a theme that you find here, you know? Ever heard of Paradox Games and your opinion about them? You'd have to give me more than that. What is that, a developer? Are those is that a genre? You didn't have a queue for Eden? Nice. Good luck with Amrine, Lono. I've done it a few times, and as a tank, healers have not been able to keep me alive. I keep full aggro and don't have an issue holding it, but even blocking and dodging. I might respec then and just try to heal. You know what I mean? Yeah, but there's no talk show, and because it's a PC game, I'm out. See you next week, Lono. Oh, that's good. Yeah. That was excellent. That was well played. I'm changing every card and end screen over on the other channel to drive people to the gameplay that we'll be doing here in a minute. You're 25 at the moment? Okay. High constitution, heavy armor. I'm still upset over that. Paradox Interactive, the devs behind Europe, Universal's 4, and basically most top-down grand strategy games. You're not going to get much from me then. I don't really play those kind of games. I think they're cool. I think they're great. I obviously think they appeal to a pretty broad audience, but that's just not my cup of tea, unfortunately. So I do not land in those games. So How do I feel about Blue Point being acquired by Sony? I think you're going to continue to see that. I think we're in a land war right now between Sony and Microsoft. They're going to start buying as many people as they can. To get salmon, you need a better fishing rod with the perks for catching large fish? Huh. Why would someone keep watching a stream about a game they could never play? So many console onlys. I just figured out how to craft green tools. Extra perks are sweet. Yeah, I got to figure out how to do that because that would be nice. I didn't realize that that's how you're supposed to do it. That still seems weird though, Nemesis. Why would you give such a low payout for something that requires that amount of commitment and work? Do you see what I'm saying? I think it's totally fine to have tiers of fish, but don't tell me, hey, this bait gives you a big boost in catching bigger fish, and then it doesn't seem to do anything. Like, that's cart before the horse. So you're letting me make bait, find bait, or craft my own bait that's supposed to increase me getting big fish, but then be like, well, no, you need a better fishing pole. What? How's the podcast with Ginger Prime going? Is that a one-off thing? I like to be on podcasts because I ran one for a long time, and I like to not have to do any of the hard stuff. I just get to show up and sound smart like that. I'll do that. But if I don't have to do all the hard work, of chopping and picking topics and running and all of that. So yeah, I'm happy to be on, anytime they want to do it. It's in a good slot for us. We can do our talk show in the morning, head over there and hang out, and then come back over here for gameplay, right? Make the bait for others, sell it at the trading post. Yeah. On a serious note, did you see the thing by Capcom COO basically wanting PC to be the main platform for their cap? Yeah, no. I saw that, Weez. I did. I saw you posted it, and I was like, here we go. This is big. Ghost Runner now available on PS5 and Xbox Series X. Are you interested? Let me know directly. Oh, they want to give me a key. I don't know. I've already played it. Even their fighting games, yeah, they're really focusing. Yep. Yeah, no, it was a good show. I've been on a lot of podcasts over the years, and I said this on Friday. I like being on a podcast with people who very clearly actually play the game and know what they're talking about. There were numerous times I was on podcasts about Destiny, and it was like, y'all even frickin' play this game? Like, they would just say stuff, and I'm like, this is kind of awkward, but that's not true. that's not true. Or that's not really how it works. It was, yeah. It was always a little awkward. There was a few times that happened. Main platform doesn't equal only platform. Yeah, they just want to have a pretty strong tilt toward PC because the PC, PC gaming is kind of exploding. Right now, and Dave Chappelle the closer. Yeah, it hits tomorrow. I saw it coming soon. I'm worried it's going to be his last one. Hang on a minute. Oh, that guy replied. You ever watch Merlin? No, That doesn't explain why YouTube will recommend videos I haven't watched in 4+ years. Well, no, it does explain that, Murph. Sorry, we're looping back a little bit to a subject. This is what happens. So, let's say you right now start consuming content that is about Destiny, okay? And you're still subbed to my main channel, all right? It's going to give you my greatest hits. It's going to try to give you my greatest hits. That's why some of those videos, you're like, why are you recommending this? This is super old. It's only giving you that because it considers it a greatest hit. I think that's what it's attempting to do. That's why people that are subbed to my main channel, if you start consuming Borderlands content, it'll give you that Zero is part stalker theory video I made years ago. Why? It's one of my greatest hits, and it's a Borderlands video. So it's like, oh, you're consuming Borderlands content, and you're sub to SNTR Presents. Here's one of his most viewed Borderlands videos. That's my theory about what it's doing. That's my theory. I don't have a better answer than that, you know, because it does seem to be the higher viewed videos, you know. It does. Merlin got weird second or third season. Liked it overall though. Yeah, I don't know. We're working our way through What If and playing some games on PlayStation 5 and stuff. The algorithm is smart enough to learn that even though I want Baltimore Ravens videos, if that video is older than a week, I'm not going to watch it. So it's all up-to-date coverage. Yeah. Yep. I see that video often, the Borderlands one. Yeah. I get recommended people's multiple-year-old content all the time after watching something similar. Yeah. Is there anybody at the right level today on Eden that could help with the Amrine dungeon? We're going to try it probably in 30 minutes or so. So if you're around and you're on Eden and you're of a high enough level to attempt it, if not, I'm going to have to like literally walk over there and try and find people. Yeah, Agent Atwood, I appreciate the recommendation, but I'm going to tell you right now, we're probably not going to watch it. We have like a whole host of things we have like as a backlog right now. So we have an LFG in the Discord. I'm not using the LFG in Discord. I'm sitting here talking, you know? You've done it like 6 times. Are you on Eden, genius? Idiot genius? Because if you and Old Soul get on, Old Soul, have you managed to level up though, or are you still lightweighting it? That was a while ago when we played together. Check out Warehouse 13's very clever show, lighthearted, but sci-fi astronomy. I'm gonna tell you right now, it's so hard. You guys, I appreciate recommendations, but I'm probably never gonna watch the stuff you recommend. Not with my wife. It's almost impossible to find sweet spot. You're 31 now? Holy frick, let's go. It's just hard to find the sweet spot. You know what I'm saying? Really hard. For my wife and I to both enjoy something, it's a bit of a challenge. So everybody, you know, people recommended The Expanse and all these other shows, and we would watch like one episode and just wouldn't hook. It wouldn't work. On level 28 to help out. Okay, so we got Vinny, we got Idiot Genius Gamer. If Old Soul can get in, that's 3 plus me. That's 4. We might be able to take a crack at this, and not have to like on the fly. I was surprised you watched Squid Games. Well, I watched that by myself though. I'm right now. I'm watching Midnight Mass, and my wife might enjoy it now that I'm watching it because she liked Bly Manor. Sinet's in here at 31. Sinet, are you around? Need a healer? I can run healer. I can spec into healer. I have a staff, and I can run the individual heal and the heal on the ground. I'm more spec'd into sword and shield, but I mean, I can sit back and heal. Scorpion shirts nuts. Keep in mind, guys, the displate's behind me if you use the displate command or the link. If you use the shirt command, all those things. Oh, you're Sinet. Okay, Idiot Genius Gamer. You're okay. Cool. I just started Squid Game, Anxiety City. Oh yeah, it's good. It's good, Pico. I've heard that if you like that, you should check out Alice in Borderland after it. So, YouTube's recommending videos that have nothing to do with recently viewed content from years and years ago. I think sometimes it gets confused. I don't know. Do you think Amazon will eventually give perks to New World with Amazon Prime members? Yeah, maybe.
Sword and Shield isn't good for dungeons unless you have a certain perk lineup and gem and sword. I have a gem sword, and I put the one on 15% damage against targets with full health. I put that in there. It's not an amazing sword. It's a level 23 requirement, 330 gear score. You know, it's not terrible, but I can run. I should probably try and get a better life staff then, because my life staff is level 15. So I'm a Prime member. Can I get a large salmon delivered next day? That's right. There's a pirate costume you can claim with Prime. Oh, really? That's right. They do Prime Gaming now. It's not. You don't have to do anything with purple. I can still get my Prime Gaming perks. I was doing that in the game that shall not be named. I was still doing that. You have 5,000 crowns, Cash Shop currency, if you're a Prime member. I'll have to sync that up. I've not even attempted to look. Yo, what's good, Liquid Smoke? How are you? Guys, if you haven't yet hit the like button, taken the poll, or if you haven't hit subscribe yet, consider doing that. We cover a variety of games here. It is a Safe for Work broadcast. We had a pretty good debate today about AFKing in the game, and it was actually really good. It feels like we're kind of getting back to our roots of covering games, doing deep dives, and having debates and discussions. Is there some kind of Game Shark thing you can put on your console so you can play PC games? No. That'd be cool if you could. Like just like an external hard drive that like does like an operating system boot, you know? That'd be dope. Because the processing power of the Series X and the PlayStation 5, like if you could harness that and play PC games, you could play them at a pretty good level of fidelity. Because they're pretty strong. They're pretty strong consoles. There's 12 weapon skins you can get for watching 10 hours. Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not giving that platform 10 hours of my life after it took years off of mine. Paul says if you're level 24, the dungeon will be easy with 5 people. We run it with 5 and I'm 21. Yeah, I'm 26. Everybody else we're taking in is over leveled, I think. We will need a good healer. I mean, I'll do my best. Couldn't the PS3 install Linux for a while at launch? Oh, I don't remember that. I don't know. I have no idea. You waited to hit 26? You can jailbreak your console and load an OS on there. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I would never ever recommend that. The old one could. Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I think the only thing I ever did that with, I had a Nintendo Wii. I did something too, so we could like get games for it or something. You're heading to the mine now? Okay. I mean, you're going a little early. We're going to switch in about 25 minutes. So you do whatever you think's best to prepare. Yeah. I think I just invented something, but I don't know how to make it. Well, this is something that strikes me as an opportunity for Microsoft. Why would you not have an app on the Series X that would let you cold like boot into an operating system that could then run a browser and run Steam and run games? You see what I'm saying? You have the hardware. I feel like the software integration would be pretty simple for Microsoft. You know what I mean? I have to also work. Oh, okay. All right. We'll figure it out. Talk to the dog outside if you haven't before going in. Okay. Let me make it the active quest to see how far I have to go. Pin, unpin. Oh golly, it's far. Yeah, it is not close to me. I don't even, is that it there? No. It's weird how it does this. Like, oh, there it is. There it is. Oh, it's down by this place. I don't have enough to fast travel, and I can't recall to the inn. Can I recall to the inn here? Okay, I can recall to an inn that's closer. I'm going to do that. Because they're in the business of selling windows, not making crap easy. Well, why wouldn't you sell that, though? Why would you put it on another platform? Couldn't they sell that app as like a Windows license? Like a limited Windows license or something? And then you come to an agreement with Steam for some kind of a revenue share? I don't know. I'm just spitballing. I'm sure there's plenty of reasons why they wouldn't do it, but... Okay. New town, new me. Okay. Steam isn't going to give Microsoft a cut. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't you... Yeah, you'd have to start to talk to the developers and then get the game. You'd want to get the game sort of like in the Microsoft store, right? So if it was in the Microsoft store for PC, right? You could bridge that gap. We put Steam on consoles, just give us some money. Steam would laugh in their face. Maybe. Unless Steam looked at the market and said they could make a lot of money, you know. I don't know. That could be lucrative for them, you know. Sure, they would be giving a cut to Microsoft, but that would be on purchases that they wouldn't have had otherwise. You know, what couple million people start buying games in Steam that aren't presently buying games in Steam. That's more revenue, and a percentage of that going to Microsoft wouldn't be paying Microsoft. I don't know. The market for them just making money off PC is far bigger. That's true. There probably are not enough Xbox consoles in circulation to really woo them into the deal, you know. Even if Microsoft was like, hey, we'll do something with Game Pass, you know. We got 20 million people on Game Pass. Steam's like, okay. PC market's in the billions. We don't give a rip. Are we close on likes today? We had a really good turnout today. We did. We had a really good turnout. It felt good. Nintendo Switch has so many of those indie Steam games. Yeah, I don't know why that's happening, but I have noticed that. Like a lot of those little indie titles are getting kicked over to the Switch. Yeah. Steam is making their Steam Decks open source or something and probably not paying those guys. Yeah. People are already theorizing about like an Alienware Steam Deck, you know, could be a thing. Game Pass subs are up to 30 million now? Gee, many Christmas. That's insane. I mean, that's not much compared to some of the other platforms out there, but that's a really, really strong start. That's a really strong start, you know? That's a lot of people that are going to feel like they can't leave, you know, the Microsoft ecosystem. Yeah. It's not bad. I had to log out for a bit. I came back. I was able to get right back in. Vengeance, what level are you? We're going to try the Amrine Dungeon. And I've got a couple of people willing to help. I don't know if we have a full crew just yet. I think it's me, Old Soul, Sinit, and then maybe one other person. So we might have 4 with me and then a 5th maybe. You'll definitely see a Razer Steam Deck. Yeah, maybe. Make the Windows Store not crap, and then maybe I'll get Game Pass. Yeah, the Microsoft Store on PC. Oh, you're only 15? Okay, never mind. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to help us. I'm excited to get hands-on with the Steam Deck. I didn't order one. I didn't see an inroad. I didn't see an inroad for me to get one and to cover it. It didn't seem like I could do much with it. Xbox Game Pass has not hit 30 million subscribers. Oh, it dropped below 23 million. Okay. So it sounds like they're stalling out a bit. Manny Small says, I'm halfway through 23. Manny, I think I saw you on our server, but you're not in our company yet. I don't know if that's on purpose or what, but I saw you yesterday. I ran past you, and I was like, oh, and you weren't in, I don't think you were in the company yet. $5 tip from East Coast Overlord. The Iron Quests on the town board are the only ones I take. Also, incredibly boring. My company's been grinding level 35 corrupted portals. Easy XP nonstop. Optimizing the fun out of the game, dude. You got Manny in the company? Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure. Like, I was seeing a name I recognize and seeing them not in the company. I was like, hey, we got to take care of that. Of course, it's stalling out. You have to Google all the titles on it to make sure they're even real. Their user base is 50 million-ish total. They only have so many to sell to. Game Pass has over 30 million now per Phil Spencer. Well, a post from Gaming Bolt said that Jeff Grubb noted that he recently heard a circulating figure of 30 million subscribers, and they're saying that's actually not true. I don't know. A major Japanese retail chain just recently stopped selling Xbox to consoles because of Game Pass. What? Quests at 50 plus are so bad for XP. Portals is the only way to level up, pretty much. I was gonna say that I do feel they've miscalculated. They've miscalculated on some of the progression needs in the game. It does seem like the CEO of Take-Two said that. Oh, not Phil. Okay. I'm gonna say Phil's pretty reliable. In a recent interview, Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick accidentally confirmed Xbox Game Pass current subscriber count, saying it's around 30 million. Within the interview on Yahoo, which was taken down as it was posted early, you can find the details here. Around the 34-minute mark, he mentioned that Game Pass now has 30 million subscribers. Xbox executive Phil Spencer, who was also in the interview, quickly followed up by stating the last public count was around 18 million. Okay. Sounds like he spoke out of turn. It sounds like he spoke out of turn, maybe. Like, I think maybe he heard 20 million and he just thought 30. I don't know. I had been speculating 20 based off of when they hit 18 earlier this year. I thought, well, it's probably around 20 million now with the growth patterns that they were seeing. You know, but like Eugene said, if you're only selling that to about 50 million people, you know, you're going to get to about the 25 million mark and you're probably going to slow down. You know, that's half your consumer base. Steam's more likely to make their own console than to do that. I mean, isn't that what the Steam Deck is kind of designed to be? Almost like a portable, you know, portable console, portable PC. I think it's like the spirit. That's kind of the spirit behind it, you know? This is going to get deep. The 3090 has 24 gig of RAM, VRAM. Get all those chips on a PCP board. They had to put half of them on the back of the card where there's no adequate cooling. Passive cooling versus active cooling. So the 3080 Ti is exactly the same as the 3090, but it only has 12 gig of VRAM. But it also has the same problem, chips overheating. Yeah, those cards, they sound defective. Every time I've seen it outlined as like what they did, I'm like, that sounds like a defective card to me. You know, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert, but it's like my basic understanding of video cards, how they stay cool. That doesn't sound like you did the right thing. 2080 for the win. Yeah, I've got multiple 2080s and not have any problem with any of them. Long story short, both cards have a design flaw, and because New World, the demand is so much processing, it can't cool them effectively. Yeah. Defective and under-engineered. Only time I'm glad I could never get my hands on a new GPU. Yeah. In order to fit in systems they have no business being in. People blaming New World for EVGA's problems. Yeah. This will likely turn into a class action lawsuit. I'm assuming. I'm assuming the video card problem is going to turn into a class action. That's what I don't think there's another road to take at this point. Yo, Toaster coming in. 2 months of membership. Thank you so much. Enjoy the new badge. Thanks for supporting the channel directly with a membership. We appreciate it very much. If you guys are here and you enjoy listening to this show every day as a lurker or as a new time listener or watcher, consider clicking that join button. We would love to see the membership over here get into the 500s. We're in like the low 300s, and we're really pushing for that to equal out and balance us with how much we've kind of lost by leaving Presents with we've taken the live show from Presents, and that has hurt us, and we're I would call it not a rebound, but we're rebuilding, and it's going well. And we appreciate everybody who's done memberships, both those that double dip or those that have kept wherever it is. Doesn't matter to me as long as you have one. I've made over 2K mining with my 3090. I paid it off and my 5950. Jeepers. That's not true. What you're saying in the design is true, yes. Yeah, everything I've heard about the card. Everything I've heard about the card is exactly what Murph was saying. You know? Double Dip Club, my man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. We're working on getting some alerts. We haven't sold any coffee today. We probably should talk about the coffee. If you're new and you like to drink coffee, we have a very, very drinkable coffee. It's our own coffee. It's in my house. We ship it from here. We have a dark roast and a light roast. People in chat can tell you how good it is. The same base flavor. The main reason it's so drinkable is because it has a balanced acidity, and so that makes both the light roast and the dark roast very drinkable. You can drink it with creamer, without. You know, some people do cold brew with it. So we appreciate the support. We appreciate the support of the coffee orders. Those that have reordered or tried it out for the first time, thank you. You can use the coffee command in chat. Craig re-upping for 3 months. Welcome back. Glad it's going well. Hope New World continues to be good for you. Love the content. Thank you, Craig. Quad Dip Club, East Coast Overlord coming in with 2 months. Membership on every single thing that we have. Will the coffee make my Mondays into Fridays? No. To be fair, New World does have some blame to share for pushing the hardware beyond limits. The hardware should be better at protecting itself and not running so close to physical limits. Well, yeah. Yeah. It's definitely something where, like, New World should be better optimized, or at least it should be like, hey, this is pushing your card too hard, you know? Like, this is too much. This is too demanding, you know? But the hardware is supposed to limit itself, isn't it? Isn't it supposed to say, hey, I can't run at this level. I'm going to get too hot, and then so it would lower performance. So then you would know in your game that, like, oh, I'm not getting good performance. I need to lower some settings. Isn't that kind of the give and take? Like, the card is like, this is what I can do, right? And if you want it to go beyond that, you have to do what's called overclocking. It's almost like the card is overclocking itself without your permission. and then being like, well, the software made me do it. You know, Light Roast is out for delivery today. Oh, nice. We did a drop-off on the weekend hoping it would help with that, Chris. It should be like that. Right. Like, a card is supposed to be like, this is my breaking point. You can't take me beyond this. This is why overclocking software exists. 2 months at a tier 3. So generous. Insomniac Black with a tier 3. Thank you very much for doing an upper tier support. Aren't new games supposed to push the system's limits? Maybe. Not like that. When multiple games have bricked these cards, it's a card problem. Yeah, Master Chief Collection has done this. It's not just a New World thing. You know? It's not just a New World thing. This guy's got a very interesting take regarding the issue of New World breaking cards. I'll tweet you the link when I have time. Yeah, sure. Let me do a couple moves. There we go. It's a 50-50. The hardware is trying to do what it's told, and it's failing to stay under its limit. The software is so badly optimized that it's pushing the hardware to keep doing more than it should. I guess. I mean, I don't know if it's that. I guess that's an adequate description of what's happening. But the card should be hitting its limit sooner, and then the game would give player feedback. You'd be like, I'm getting stuttering. I'm getting poor frames. I'm getting bad graphical performance. I better back my settings down. Right? Do you see what I'm saying? The only way that the user can know that the game is pushing the card too hard, the card is supposed to show that. You're supposed to get performance in the game that indicates I'm taking this too high. Look, you can take any game right now. Take Fortnite, throw it on a really old system, and jack the settings way up. Take the settings to ultra and all this stuff, and it's gonna be like it's gonna be like the game's trying to run with cement in the wheels, and you're gonna know what card can't go beyond this. The card's not sustaining the settings that I have set the game to. And then you would lower the settings and find the sweet spot. Where can I get the appropriate performance, out of this game? And what this card is doing is it's just staying in the ring. It's like, no, I can do it. Yeah, no, I can do it. And then it passes out and you're like, what just happened? This person has a wolf head on. I love it. I didn't even know that was in the game. Wolf head helmets. My first 3090 died before I hit the menu, and that was after the patch. What? GPUs automatically boost overclock straight from the factory. Third-party cards, EVGA, Gigabyte, do their own overclocks. All types of cards are having issues. It's just easier to blame Amazon than to think your $1,500 video card you scrambled for months to get because of shortages is defective. Yeah. They had issues with the 2080s when they first came out. I remember the guy that built my PC telling me that. He was like, you might have issues. We've had some fails. We've had some out of box failure. It's new cards, early adopters, man. When you early adopt into hardware, you got to know the risk that you're taking. And Eddie's ran into similar issues when they launched. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the scary things about early adoption. I remember when we were like, yeah, that's the card we're going to go for. I remember thinking we may run into problems. It's just part of the risk. It's part of the chance, So, all right, give me 1 second. I'm going to run upstairs really quickly and stretch my legs. We're going to transition into gameplay. We are going to try and do the Amrine dungeon, so hopefully you guys will be here to enjoy that. When we transition into gameplay in the afternoon, a lot of you don't come with us, and we would love to see you at least come hang out for a little bit, all right? We'll switch streams here in just a moment, and it's super supportive and helps the channel, helps me, helps everything that we're working on continue going, even if you guys hang out at gameplay for a little bit. I feel like this is a game where I've done a pretty good job maintaining the talk show environment even while playing. It's not like when I play a brand new game and get really quiet and don't say anything. So the talk show vibe, the back and forth of radio, actually gets a longer shelf life throughout the day with a game like New World, and we're very pleased with that. So give me 1 second. I'm going to run upstairs really quickly. You might see some ads. Don't go anywhere. While I'm away, do all the things. Maybe order some coffee. Use the coffee command. Hit like, subscribe, maybe become a member. All those various ways to support the channel. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I'm back, chat. We made it. Okay. Do. Announcements. Preloading begins tomorrow. Perfect. We're going to be able to capture some Battlefield footage. I'm very excited about that. People are running the highest settings and burning their cards. Just order more coffee. Oh, I got the email, Matthew. Thank you so much. It was, I think, 2 dark and 1 light. Thank you so much for doing that. I've encouraged a lot of people to snag 3 bags, get 1 light, 1 dark, and then get an extra one to give to a friend, because a lot of people that try this end up really liking it. And just tell them, hey, if you want to get more, you can order it at rageousroast.com. You know what I mean? Did you pre-order because the open starts on the 8th? Well, no, I'm a part of a program that they're going to let us get in and get early, and the embargo drops on like the 6th. So I'll be able to put gameplay up on the 6th for you guys to see before everybody sees it on the 8th. So pumped about that. You know, we didn't get a chance to do anything with Halo this most recent flight. It just landed with New World, and I had to focus on New World. Server queue situation's improving. Popular servers are just as full, and because of that, people are going into other servers and spreading the queue times. My server, just the last couple of days, has gotten about a 500 queue, taking a long time to get in. Oh, wait, were you on a less popular server and now you're dealing with queue times? Yeah, it's... Nemesis says, I'm a bit behind, but I agree with you on the bait. Someone told me the same thing. Fishing pole perks as I struggled finding salmon for 3 hours yesterday. Oh, it isn't improving, says Distorted. Okay. I like planting the seed. Because they may think they have to go to somebody else for it. Rather than surprise them, say, hey, I'm going to have this for you on this date, creature. It's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, right? Surprise factor could be cool, but also saying, hey, you don't need to go elsewhere for that on that date. I will have footage for you, right? I think it's kind of like announcing when we're going to co-stream something, you know? You let people know you can come to me for the coverage. So... two schools of thought. I think both could have their pros and cons. Here's my thing on Halo. I liked everything on the map design. I liked everything. Oh, but the map design. Too claustrophobic. Not enough space for vehicles. Hopefully, other maps will have more open spaces. Okay. All right. Let's make the switch. I'm in a server right now. I'm ready to go. We're going to go and try and do this Amrine dungeon. I got people that are going to be helping me with it. It should redirect you. If it doesn't redirect you, I'm going to put a link in chat. Again, when you're here, smashing like, subscribe, membership, join, and again, watching our other streams. I also have a premiere today of a cool little indie title called Fist. It's a great Metroidvania, and it landed on Sony first, and it's now on Steam. So that's going to premiere over on Presents this afternoon. But click the link in chat or ride the redirect. We're going to go over and play some New World. All right, my man Mo coming in for 2 months on the journey again for the year. Can't wait for KOS. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, Mo. Thank you. All right, I'll see you guys over there in the new stream, all right? Click the link or ride the redirect.